right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome. If you are new here, appreciate you guys joining me today and waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up. Ghetto God says, you guys know where to stick that thumb on the like button, right? Right, Ghetto God? Ghetto God? Ghetto God. Appreciate you guys joining me today because I definitely made it seem like yesterday we were not going to be doing another stream today. And honestly, I wasn't planning on doing a stream today. Hold on, let me check the volume real quick. Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing a stream today or making a video for that matter. I was just going to take today and tomorrow off. Now it'll just be tomorrow, but it's okay. This is a stream that we definitely have to do. Considering everything that's happened this month, how many streams I've done talking about the situation without actually hearing something from Sony. But today we finally have our first response from Sony, and it took them having to answer the shareholders to say anything. Oh, it's okay, Irvin. You're just trying to keep me in the loop, you know? I appreciate it. But yeah, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button to help the stream out. And hoping for a great rant today. I got to keep my blood pressure under control, Capono. So if you get a rant, it will be... is there such thing as like a... I was going to say like an unemotional rant. Like just a very stoic rant. Perfect image. You're saying, MBG, you said this was going to happen. You mean the only time we'd hear from Sony is when they talk to the shareholders? Yeah. Let him retain his peace, says Irfin. Thank you, Irfin. Thank you for thinking of my peace. I'd like to see you fraud your way out of this one. All right, hold on. We have PlayStation 360. Love the name, by the way. Also, love the fact it's what's your profile? Is your profile picture Link holding up a platinum trophy? I'm not going to fight, but I'm going to politely ask if you could explain yourself. So, just so we are all on the same page here, if you look up the definition of the word fraud, this is the definition. Fraud is an intentional act of deception used to trick someone out of money, property, or legal rights, or to refer to a fake person. Okay, so not tricking anybody. Not tricking anybody out of money or property or legal rights. And I'm not being a fake person. In fact, me being vulnerable enough to make it clear to you guys that I'm only human and my thoughts and feelings on things change is the opposite of being a fake person. That sounds like Sony. And Corey, the legend Landiga, comes in and he drops 5 member gifts for you. Oh, Corey, guess what, bro? Guess who else is on blood pressure? Well, I don't know if you're still on blood pressure medication, but I'm on blood pressure medication now. Yeah. Yep. It's reached that point. Saw my doctor. He's looking over my numbers, just like, we're going to have to treat this. I'll tell you, though. Let me tell you something. Today's the first day I'm on my blood pressure medication. A lot less pain in my neck. It's called Valsartan, I think. I'm on like the lowest dose. But I gotta say, a lot less pain in my neck. And we have a super chat from and Corey, thank you for the membership gifts, man.
I'm no hero.
Forgot to play your
Never was. Never
and
will
virtual
be.
man, I'm gonna read what you said. I just have to add this to the goal. Yeah, if you guys want to support the channel directly, consider becoming a channel member. Consider gifting memberships. We do have some member exclusive content, some gameplay commentaries that I think you guys might be interested in. And if you appreciate what I do here, you know, I'm completely fan funded, sponsorship free. So watch all that pain be from the high blood pressure. I'm sure not all of it was, but it probably was a good portion. You know, like the doctor was telling me when your blood pressure's high, your muscles tense up, and you know, having nerve issues in that area when the muscles start to tense up, it flares up the pain substantially. But Virtual Man with a $5 super chat says, I'm so glad I'm one of the few who doesn't care about Call of Duty or GTA, so not buying either will be easy. And that is true. Yeah, if you don't care about those games, that's no problem for you. You know? It's no problem. Well, Lady Gamer, that's good to hear. Ghetto God says, I respect MBG's stance on what's going on, but I can't be fake either and act like I care about physical disc games. I will probably never buy one again and don't own a single physical PS5 game. I can respect that, Ghetto God. Like, I can respect the fact that you're just being honest. You know, if there's anything I can respect, it's people just being real and being honest. And you know, it's why I don't get mad or upset at people who are extremely passionate in the other direction. You know, people, like I see people getting kind of shit on and made fun of, you know, for trying to fight and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm not. I mean, are there some people who are maybe faking it? Maybe I don't know. Can't prove it, but I assume it's real, and I assume it's real because I know how they feel. You know, I can relate. But you know, I think that, and this, here's something I wanted to say to you guys too, is like, one of the reasons I wanted to make sure to do this stream today and cover this topic today is because it's the last day of July. And listen, I don't think this specific topic is going to just go away in August, but it feels like there's a layer of closure here. Not completely, but a layer, like a percentage, I guess, like a higher percentage of closure than where we were for the last 30 days. You know, we've been kind of waiting for Sony to respond, and we're going to go over that response. We also have their earnings to go over. But I guess I just want to make it clear that, you know, I'm not going to every single stream and every single video I make going forward just be about this singular topic, especially now that Sony's made it clear. There is, you know, a few things we're going to talk about today, but one particular statement I'm going to make today that, you know, I think it should pretty much sum up where we are, and you know, and what people I think need to keep in mind going forward. So that'll be the goal today. Titus, what's up, man? What's good with you digital weirdos? Yo, you digital weirdos. Bunch of freaks. Nicodemus, what's up, man? Don't give Sony a dime. Nicodemus, didn't you trade it? You traded in your PlayStation, didn't you? Oh, the ads. Thank you for. Yeah, you guys are gonna. I'm still getting used to doing that. Let me fix that now. Keep reminding me every stream if you don't mind, because I clearly forget. It doesn't even tell me when it's playing ads. Isn't that the best part? Like it literally just. Oh wait, hold on. What is this? It's not letting me change it. Hold up, let me refresh. YouTube's had enough. All right, hold on. I think it's good now. I think I had to refresh it twice. We should be good now. I was like, yo, okay. YouTube straight up giving me the option and not letting me choose it. I'll just assume it was a bug. It's just a bug. It's always just a bug. Hellbound, what's up, man? We collectors can only reverse Sony's decision if the number of us is significant enough to really affect Sony's profit margin. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Jenna, what's up? we're going to talk about that. Thank you, Sina. Yeah, let me know. All right, yeah, we're going to get into this discussion. And like I said, if you want to help the stream out, make sure you hit that like button. Yeah, YouTube's like, we are giving you that ad money. You don't have a choice. Hit that like button. And if you want to support what I do here, consider becoming a channel member. Consider gifting memberships. If we hit 25, we'll feed the beast. We're going to try to feed the beast today. You can also drop a super chat or a direct donation. These are all ways in which you can support the content, the community, and what I do here directly. Simply could not do it without your support. So a big thank you to everybody who makes it possible. All right. Well, let's dive into it. So, first and foremost, I'm going to read to you the first thing that I came across. All right. This came from the PlayStation 5 subreddit. Sony says it will cautiously go ahead with its plan to end the production of physical game discs, still figuring out how to respond to the feedback. In the Q&A session posted with shareholders following today's earnings report, some shareholders and journalists asked about plans to end the production of PlayStation game discs. Sony stated that so far, it has not seen any negative impact on sales following the announcement and does not expect this to change when it takes effect. First thing I want to highlight, what's really going on in July? What big games released in July where Sony could see a negative impact or have some kind of noticeable negative impact? July is one of the quietest months of the year for gaming and sales. So, right off the bat. Anyway, it continues. While acknowledging that games are beloved, I'm assuming they mean physical games, by many and deeply tied to people's memories, the company believes the future is digital for virtually all forms of media. They reiterated that they will proceed, quote, cautiously with their plans, noting that the data shows a significant portion of the audience has already opted for digital and that this trend does extend beyond PlayStation, and that they don't believe discs are the differentiating factor for consoles when compared to PCs. Consoles are more stable and cheaper than PCs, according to Sony. The company said it is still figuring out how to respond to the feedback. Also, they confirmed the announcement to end disc production, or they confirmed that when they made the announcement, it was made so early to communicate with retailers. Sony is working with them to do codes in packages. This subject has already been discussed with North American retailers, and now the same will happen in other regions. So that was the first thing that I came across. All right. But I also want to go over to Genki Japan. I believe he speaks Japanese fluently. So Sony CFO Lin Tao says they will not change their plans to end physical disc production and will cautiously move forward with the plan. Quote, there are various reasons we made this decision. The biggest being that the digitalization, I hate that word, of content overall has been progressing. That's the big factor. It's not just for PlayStation, but for all kinds of content. Digitalization is progressing. And so now we think about the future and we put in a lot of thought and time and we cautiously considered this and we came to this conclusion and we're going to cautiously move this forward. And to this decision, we have received various opinions and people have strong views, and we understand that the community has put forth those views to us. Games are loved by many people. It's a form of entertainment that's loved by people, and it's connected to people's fond memories in many cases. And so we understand those emotions. We want to consider that. And in the future digital ecosystem, how do we engage the gamers is something that we would like to continue to explore. End quote. That was Sony CFO. Okay. Well, let's unpack this. What's really being said here? What's really being said? Um, to me, there's a couple of takeaways. Irfan, I'll see if I can. Let me double check before I continue on here. We have push square. Yeah, we got a couple things from push square, seemingly. Yeah, we're gonna cover this. We're gonna cover that stuff too. I'm gonna be going over that next. Because we are gonna have to go over the numbers, Because here are a couple of takeaways from what Sony is saying here. All right, the first and the biggest one is they're telling their shareholders, we're not noticing any decline in sales. That's number one. They are saying this over the course of July. So, we did see the Black Ops releases, so I'm sure that helped. Assassin's Creed. The second thing they're saying is they're going to proceed. That's the biggest thing here is we have been waiting to hear from Sony. What are you doing? They're moving forward with it. The third biggest thing, in my opinion, to take away from this is they use the word cautious. They're cautiously moving forward. Not confidently, cautiously. Not aggressively, cautiously. We're going to talk more about that. How significant is that word? Should we hang on to that word? Does it really mean anything when it comes to this corporate speak? We'll talk about that. But the fourth thing, and this is the biggest one, okay, this is the biggest takeaway from everything Sony said. Like if it could just be summed up in one or two sentences, this is it. The words that are spoken or typed on the internet are not going to change their minds. No amount of backlash that comes in the form of internet outrage is going to change Sony's mind. And the reason for that is because the data is all they are focused on. This is what they told us. This is what they told their shareholders. This is what they basically told us by not saying anything for 30 days straight. That's pretty much it. If there's going to be any change that occurs, it will only happen when the data changes, when the numbers change. And that's it. That's not to say that people who want to continue to be vocal towards Sony shouldn't do that. It's just people who are going to do that need to understand that that's what Sony's telling you. They're not paying attention. It's not that they're not paying attention. It's just nothing you're saying or doing is going to change it. Until we see the behaviors of millions and millions of PlayStation users change, and that behavior change is reflected in the quarterly earnings reports. Until they see that, they're not going to back down from this. But that's why I want to focus on the word cautious and cautiously. Sony says they're cautiously moving forward. Now, I'm getting some flack already on Twitter over this. People are, maybe I don't word things great on Twitter, but, people think I'm becoming delusional because I'm looking at that word, I'm focusing on them saying that, and my interpretation of it, and it could be a wrong interpretation for sure, but when I first read that, I thought, I see that as like the window being cracked. Like Like Sony's going to move forward, but they, they're like telling their shareholders, like, we're not going to be reckless about this. We're going to observe what happens. And my interpretation of that, to be honest, was like, if they notice a major change in their data and in their numbers over the next 6 to 9 months, there's a possibility they could walk it back. That's truly how I interpret it. Maybe that's hopium, maybe that's copium, maybe it's delusion, but I just feel like it could not be more clear cut at this point. It could not be more clear cut. The words on the internet don't matter. The words out of the mouths of people like me and other content creators and other influencers doesn't matter to Sony. The only thing that matters are the bottom line numbers. So either enough PlayStation players collectively are going to band together and say, we're going to change your numbers, or that's not going to happen. Sony also made it clear that they're not expecting that to happen. They did tell their shareholders straight up, we don't anticipate that. And I start to lose hope, in a sense, when I look ahead and I think to myself, okay, GTA 6 is coming. GTA 6 is digital only. It's literally the biggest entertainment property of all time, and it's going to break every single record by miles. Digital only. Why do I get the feeling that if not every PlayStation player, but if 50% of all PlayStation players band together and decided from this moment forward, we're only buying physical games, GTA 6 alone would undo that. GTA 6 alone would provide the data needed to justify Sony doing this in their eyes and in the eyes of their shareholders. That's the behemoth that awaits us, and anybody who's fighting the good fight here. And, I think people are aware of that. I think people are starting to kind of realize, like, well, you have a choice to make. You're either going to partake with Sony in some way, shape, or form going forward, or you're not. You're going to move on to something else or just be out entirely. Maqui Ninja with a $5 super chat says, money talks their language, but I'm still going to annoy the piss out of them on every post and speak with the wallet. And that's your right to do that. I understand why some people would get a little bit annoyed, like, oh, give it a rest, stop it. But it's not being directed at you, it's not being directed at me. I don't think it will hurt. I do think Sony might have to do something. I don't know what they'll do, but I can't imagine Sony would be okay with the idea of 6 months from now, every post. Like, what I was thinking about? I was thinking about how it seems likely in August we're going to be getting some GTA 6 gameplay, some more GTA 6 marketing, and we know that PlayStation is partnered with them. So conceivably, some of the first GTA gameplay we see might drop alongside, like on the PlayStation YouTube channel at the same time. I have to imagine somebody, I don't know if it would be Sony, I don't know if it would be Take-Two Interactive, but if you imagine you go to that trailer and literally the entire, assuming they don't turn the comments off, it's just what we're seeing now. You think eventually they'll turn off the comments? You see, there's a reason why they haven't done that already. And it's important to understand this, in my opinion. The reason why they haven't done that already is because it sends a message that they're not willing to say it so bluntly. I'm basically trying to translate the corporate speak here, but if they were to turn off the comments, what they're saying is, you're not allowed to give feedback. We're not allowing you to give feedback now. And it pretty much would validate what a lot of people believe, and that is that Sony is being like the villain. Like, they're being aggressively the villain, and they're not going to let you even express your frustration in their comment section. They're going to silence you, right? It's a bit dramatic, but I mean, that's why they're not doing that, because, if you read word for word what Lynn Tal said, she's like, yeah, we're seeing it. And we understand the emotion. Like, they're expressing their opinions at us. It's like, yes, we are. And you're saying it doesn't matter. You're saying you're still going through with it. So if they haven't turned the comments off by now, I think it's safe to say they won't. But I would have to imagine that if GTA gameplay drops and all of the comments are just what we've been seeing this entire time, and that's it, somebody's got to be annoyed at that point. Maybe it's not Sony. Maybe it's Take-Two Interactive. Maybe it's the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, Strauss Zelnick, being like, Sony. But, yeah, that's the thing. It's probably going to drop on Rockstar's channel first. But at some point, Sony may have to do, I don't know what they could do, but it's like, they're going to have to do something if 6 months from now, you can't engage with anything they're posting, because all you get, it's like, it's not that you can't engage with it. It's just all you see is people still being angry at them making this decision. It would, if we see that 6 months from now, it's a clear indication it's not going away anytime soon. But I'm getting a little bit far away from what I was trying to say here. The whole idea behind this is that you can continue to believe that something will change, but you can do whatever you want. But what I'm still kind of focused on here, when I listen to Sony say we're cautiously proceeding, I don't assume I don't assume that caution. Again, if we want to go by the literal definition of cautiously, just so we're all on the same page, the literal definition of the word cautiously is to act in a careful, wary way to avoid danger or risk. So what Sony is straight up telling their investors, and by extension us, but mainly, they're only speaking to their investors in their eyes. Corey, you got to head out, man. Again, thank you for stopping by and appreciate the membership gifts, bro. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah, no, we're not going to do politic talk right now. Japanese. Yes. I'm going to go Japanese. Just so we're clear. But that's the literal definition of, that is the definition of cautiously. And so what they are telling their investors is that we understand there's risk involved. So we'll be careful. And I don't know that is referring to August or September or October or November. I say this because, I mean, we all know what's going to happen. We all know how the last couple months of this year are going to go down for PlayStation. Sony knows it. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I think their caution has more to do with it's what I suspected, or not. I can't say suspected because it's not confirmed yet, but it's what I've been talking about. I think their caution lies in, but how are people going to treat the PlayStation 6 and the next generation when we start to announce it and talk about it? That to me is the thing that I don't know. That to me is the thing that if there was ever a time for Sony to approach with caution, it's going to be that. That's going to be that time. You know? No, they didn't talk about next gen, as far as I'm aware. It's fascinating to see how offended console gamers are by PC. I bet they secretly want to join, but lack the know-how. If you can catch my drift, I don't know. It depends on what type of console gamers you're talking about. I see obnoxious people on all sides, and I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I'm just getting tired of obnoxious people. My tolerance level is like, it's for like my own health at this point, man. You know, where it's like I'm tired of seeing people thinking they can just be assholes. Like, that bothers me because it's like what why do people think that they can talk to others like that? Like, if somebody comes out and says something rude to begin with, and your response is I'm responding with something, rudely back at them, that's different. But I just I get annoyed because, and I see this mostly on Twitter. I see it in many places, but it's the worst on Twitter. But like, that's what's crazy to me about all this is like people use their own opinion that they formed based off of something that's happening in the game space as a justification to treat others like shit. And it's like, that's, in my opinion, that's just no way to go about it. You know? It was getting my blood pressure. Yeah, it's got my blood pressure too high. And trust me, like, I understand the passion, but I don't think people should let their passion, turn them into a rude individual. Like, I don't think passion is justification for that. I mean, if we're talking about video games, you know what I mean? We're talking about ownership, of course, and that stuff matters. But I think we all have to understand, like, we're all to an extent on the same side here, and that is like we all just care about video games and we want to enjoy and play video games. When we get into the weeds of that discussion, that's where the splits start to occur, and it doesn't. We don't. Again, people, the divide and conquer mentality. Don't let it. You can't let this stuff divide you, because once you do that, then everybody's distracted and the companies get what they want more easily. You think I'm putting too much weight on the word caution? I probably am. I probably am. I don't like, if you were to ask me right now, July 31st, 2026, after reading Sony's replies and their statements and what they said, do I think they're going to reverse their decision? No. And I'll tell you why. I don't think they're going to reverse their decision because what is needed to get them to do it is not going to happen. But I want to add a caveat, and I will maintain this. I will maintain this until it comes to pass, or it doesn't. The caveat I'm going to add to that is that, and I'm not just going to continuously talk about this going forward, but given this is the first time Sony spoke, I need to reiterate this. The PS6 reveal is going to be the last shot collectively that if enough PlayStation players, both hardcore and casual, decide they want to come together to do something, that's the time to do it. That will be the only time. It's not going to be in the coming months. It's not going to be the first couple months of next year. That's the only other opportunity you will have, and it will have to be massive. It will have to be, I don't know if I want to say Xbox One levels of disastrous, but it will have to be something that is unavoidable for Sony, something that they literally cannot ignore because they are now under threat of their next gen console flopping, similar to the Xbox One, similar to the PS3, similar to the Wii U. And I just don't know. I don't know how confident I am in that. Meanwhile, they have raised their forecast to $4.1 billion, the greatest for any gaming company in history. Yep. And so, but that's the thing. We know why that is, right, Irfan? We know how much of that comes from GTA 6. We know how much of that comes from all these big AAA games. My room's not on fire. That's that smoke you're seeing is an incense. It's not on fire. I appreciate that, though. Looking out. Appreciate you looking out. Well, you don't have to be sorry about that, Digital Dude. You're saying if I see a PS6 game that looks like a banger, I'm copping. And yeah, I don't listen. I'm not going to point the finger at anybody. What's that, Digital Dude? You want to buy a game that looks really good and you want to play it? How dare you? No, like, do you, man? Don't let anybody dissuade you. And same thing on the other side of that. If somebody says, "Yo, I am not touching the PS6 no matter what," do you? But I can't help but wonder, there are so many things working against the PlayStation 6. There's so many things working against it that this just kind of adds onto the pile. And I just genuinely wonder if Sony would get desperate. That's the word I would use. Sony is the opposite of desperate right now. Sony's in a position of strength. And again, I think I just saw, we'll go over the numbers, but I think they sold 95 million PS5s. Like, dude, they're going to hit 100 million. Another incredibly successful console generation, the most profitable they've ever had, and it's only getting better with a release like GTA 6. The generation is ending on a strong note, collectively. But that's the thing, man. When we talk about the next generation, when we talk about the PlayStation 6, are we officially shifting our goal to damage the PS6? I think it's too early to say that. You know, I don't want to speak about it in those terms because we don't know what the PS6 even is. We don't know what Sony's going to announce. We don't know what they're going to say. All I will tell people is if you have, we need Dark MBG to rise up. If you are somebody who would like to see a change with PlayStation and you would like to see Sony react to the gamer again, by the gamer, I mean, like, you know, those who are expressing themselves and being vocal and saying, hey, like, we want you to pay attention to us. If you're part of that, which I do consider myself a part of it, I understand that they're not going to listen to me anytime soon. The PS6 presents the only other opportunity that I can see. You know, that's the only other opportunity. If I'm living in reality and not being delusional about it, there does seem to be enough. Like, I saw a video that popped up today from this YouTuber. I don't watch him regularly. I see him occasionally, but I know he's a really massive YouTuber. His name is like Mr. Boss for the Win or something like that. And he made a video on this, not just about the PlayStation 6, but he opened it talking about PlayStation, and he talked extensively about consoles. And it's interesting because he was asking the exact same question that I've been asking. And I'm somebody who's like constantly paying attention to this, but this is somebody who's way bigger and has a much, much, much wider reach. How is Sony, and Microsoft for that matter, how are they going to build momentum for the next gen with everything that's stacked against them? I don't watch him regularly. His video just popped up and he had a PlayStation on there. I'm like, oh, what's this? And that's the thing, man, is there's enough going against the PlayStation 6 that we could. I want to be careful how I word this because I have a tendency to be overdramatic. We could put Sony in a position, potentially, with the PS6 where they are a little bit desperate and they are forced to listen to us again. And they are forced to be like, okay, guys, maybe we got a little bit ahead of ourselves with the success of the PS5. We see that people are not pre-ordering the PS6, or the numbers that we see ahead of us with the PS6 are so bad. What can we do? I don't know if that's going to happen, but I just know that right now there's more going against the PS6 than there ever was the PS5 and the PS4 combined. That could create the perfect storm for Sony, depending on how they handle their rollout of next gen, where it could bring them to their knees. Because think of it like this. If Sony's business model is the console and their next console seems like it's not going to do well, what do? We have Recovered Souls with a $5 super chat saying, do you think Sony is trying to drive us to buy their handheld and forget about the all-digital decision they've made? To an extent. I think Sony wants everybody to move on from this. I think Sony right now feels, if not confident, I will say they feel confident enough that we're going to proceed. I think a good way to actually interpret what was said is like this. We see and we hear what people are saying and the reactions, and we understand this is important. But we're pretty sure that if we just move forward, this is going to go away and people are going to ultimately begin to accept it. We're pretty sure that by the time we get to 2028, the overwhelming majority of people are going to be buying digital and everybody's just going to ultimately accept it. That's pretty much what they're saying. And, you know, it's why I keep saying that that mentality from our perspective looks like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? You don't care about the fans or the players at all. And yeah, to an extent, they're not addressing us directly, but that mentality is driven literally by their spreadsheets, and their spreadsheets are telling them like less and less and less people are buying physical. Their spreadsheets are telling them that the vast majority of people are currently pre-ordering the most expensive digital versions of these games. This is what they've been doing for most of the generation, and it's only increasing year over year. And so from their perspective, they're looking at 2027 as a year where that number is going to get even higher. The percentage of people buying digital games potentially might reach 90% by the end of 2027. Again, I'm not saying it necessarily justifies the removal of an option, but I'm just saying from Sony's perspective, this is why they feel like, we can do this. We can do this because this is what we're being told. We're being told not by our replies on our Twitter, but by the actual behavior of our customer base. By the larger customer base, that this is what they want. I'm not, the biggest thing that bothers me is how Sony's willing to just kind of steamroll or throw out, whether it be 10%, 15%, 18%, read their full statements. There are very clear signs that in their talks that they intend to make major changes to the PlayStation Store. They have plans. They just don't want to talk about them right now. And like I said yesterday, that will be interesting. I can't wait to see if Sony actually comes out and they're like, we're going to try to make our storefront better than Steam. Not saying they will be successful, but that's going to be interesting. Like, I think that will perk people up. Like, okay. And yeah, see, what would make that so interesting is they have to be pro-consumer at that point, pro-customer. Like, they have to actually do things that in our minds right now, Sony would never do that. Sony would never do that. And I'm not saying we give them the benefit of the doubt either. I'm not saying we should assume they'll do that. Don't assume they'll do anything. But it's just from where I'm sitting, it's like, dude, you're going to have to. So you want people to buy an expensive PS6, and you want them to do so knowing they're locked into your digital ecosystem. You got to make that ecosystem shine. Because right now, it ain't looking too shiny. Right now, it's looking, people are scared. You know, people are scared. They're gonna get the most consumer unfriendly digital ecosystem that we've ever seen. Sony's big scared of PC. Well, I will say I watched a review this morning of the Steam Deck, or not the Steam Deck, the Steam Machine, and I was looking at what Steam OS offers more in depth, and I'm like, everybody kind of, I would say, collectively decided that the Steam Machine is too expensive, right? But it's like if the Steam Machine price can ever go down, like it's a viable option. Like it really is. I know it doesn't ship with a controller, but like, dude, it's almost the size of a GameCube, and you can boot it up and just use Steam OS, and it's basically a console. Right now, it's not really a threat for many reasons, but in the long run, it's like, I don't know, Sony, if you're going to force people into a digital ecosystem, and Valve, if they can one day lower the price of the Steam Machine or iterate on it, people might look at that. And that's not even talking about Xbox. Like, if people are going to say, like, I want to have a box that I can connect to my TV that's low profile, but operates like it could give me the freedom of a PC if I want it, but it gives me access to Steam, and it gives me the convenience of a console. That is the Steam Machine. It's just not very appealing right now for a few reasons. But Steam OS is probably the most appealing part of it. And that's where, again, it's a ways away from now, but like, Sony, if you're going to charge a lot of money for the PS6, and it's also digital only, and it's also meant to be hooked up to the living room, I don't know. And Michael, membership Werneth, he comes in, he drops 10 member gifts on you guys. He comes in, he says, all aboard! Michael, thank you so much for that, man. And I'll take this opportunity to let everybody know, if you are lucky enough to receive a member gift when we're finished here today, go check out some of the members exclusive content. All right. We're going to have more members content coming up. That is one of the benefits you get if you become a channel member here on this channel. You'll have member exclusive content to look forward to. A Gaming got gifted a membership. Love to see it. And Michael, thank you again for that, man. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you for contributing to that goal. And I think I missed a direct donation as well. Yeah, we have Perfect Image with the $2 direct. He says, MBG #1 is pointing out the possibility of PSN for PS4 and 5 could close, and the PS6 network could be so different. Now, I don't know about the SDK. I mean, imagine the shot. No way. There's no way. PS4, maybe. PS5, Could you imagine if they went that crazy? They're like, yeah, we're just shutting down the PlayStation 5 ecosystem. Yep. That's what we're doing. We're just starting over with the PS6. No, they literally cannot do that. That would end their business overnight. We'll see what they do with the SDK, though. We know they're making big changes. And we have Kaz Jam with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Kaz Jam. He says, you should have got a Steam Deck when they were still affordable. Would have been a great introduction to PC gaming. Yeah, I never really... I'm not the biggest fan of handhelds. Like, the Steam Machine is probably a more interesting device to me than a Steam Deck is. I mean, I'll be really curious to see what Sony does with the PlayStation handheld and how that fits into all of this. But I don't know, man. I just think that Sony... I think that Sony needs to... They need to be a little bit more, I would say, cautious of Steam, of Xbox. And I know, Xbox is in a world of hurt on their own right now. And but it's like if what we are seeing about the PlayStation 6 right now comes to pass, and that's a big if. I talked to you guys yesterday extensively about how things can change and they can change quickly. All it takes is a couple of announcements. But like, if we assume that the PS6 generation is going to be the weakest we've ever seen from Sony, like right out of the gate, like there's just minimal excitement, and it's noticeable, and you can feel it, and you can see it, and it's on display. I don't think Sony should underestimate how easily Xbox or Steam could give them a good swift kick in the ass at that point. Again, there's no reason for Sony to talk about that right now, but I would like to think they're aware of that, because they would have to be, you know? We have a Starscream77 with a $5 chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, so curious to see what Xbox does, if they do physical media, and if they will pivot or not. I think this is the only thing that will force Sony to adjust course. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday as well, and it's interesting because I saw a couple of posts from Asha Sharma on her X account, and I was quite surprised at how many responses I saw of people being like, can you please announce physical games for Xbox and a disc drive and stuff like this? And I imagine she's seeing these things, you know, to an extent. We do know that Asha Sharma is taking in feedback that way, like literally on X. So I'm not convinced that they will do this. MBG, they told their investors they're moving forward cautiously. They're terrified behind the scenes. I don't know if they're terrified, but I think there's a little bit of trepidation, honestly. I get that sense. But yeah, I don't think Xbox is going to do physical, man. It would be so cool if they did. That would be the biggest flex that we would ever see from Xbox, and it would be glorious. But do they have the balls? I don't think so. I think to an extent, Microsoft is actually on board with this. Not even to an extent. Microsoft has made it clear like they want to go digital only as well. Two things to get Sony's attention. We need to contact our local government and tell them we want consumer protections, making sure we own our gaming keys and have third-party vendors where it cannot be a monopoly. Better watch Apple as well. I'm hearing they may be getting into the gaming console market. They have their own M7 chip. Well, I mean, that would create more competition, right? But you're right. You're right. Let me see. Hey, John, if 17 to 25 million bought digital-only consoles, there's your number. Who might buy a PS6? Consider some bought it because it was cheaper and add the PS4 players. Sony's stupid. I mean, it is interesting. It is interesting to think that like that number of buyers for the digital only console, you have to assume, like truly, that one of the biggest reasons for that is because it was the cheaper option. Unless Sony does something crazy with the PS6 that we're not expecting pricing wise, that's not going to be the case this time. It's going to be shockingly expensive. Fishy Q with a $5 super chat. Thank you, man. Says PS6 will be the proof that Sony gets too cocky and oversteps with every 3 generations of PlayStation. It's looking like a real possibility right now, Fishy. You know, what makes it so difficult right now? What makes it Irfan, thank you. I'll go check that now. What makes it so difficult right now is the fact that we just don't know. Like we don't actually know what Sony's plans are with the PS6. Everything we say is an assumption, and I'm not saying there isn't merit to those assumptions. There is. We're making calculated, educated assumptions based on everything Sony has done during the PS5 generation and every generation prior to that. But what I'll say is if Sony's willing to make this drastic of a change, knowing the risk involved, knowing the potential downside, and they do it anyway, I have to wonder if there's a flip side to that. Of like, okay, so does that mean you're willing to make other drastic changes and announcements and decisions that kind of counter that in a sense, right? That kind of counterbalance it. And that's the part that we're not going to have an answer to that until one of two things happens. Number one, I have to go check that, John K. Number one, something leaks. There's a big leak about Sony's next gen plans, and it's coming from like Jason Schreier or Tom Henderson or somebody, where it's like, here are the big changes they're actually planning on making. And it all kind of spills out sooner than it was supposed to. Either that or we literally have to wait until Sony announces the PS6, and that's not happening for some time. No, that's not what I'm saying. It would have to be more than that. Is that true though? Saying they turned the comments off on their latest YouTube. I'll go check. Scratch the cat. Okay, so they turn the comments off automatically on kids games, on like family friendly and kids games. That's why. There's a Mortal Shell 2 beta available now. Oh, sweet. The comments are turned on here. Yeah, so if you see any PlayStation trailers with the comments turned off, as of right now, it's because it's a game for kids. So that I think it's always been that way. But we have Genki Japan here again with a couple of Sony only had this to say about Marathon in its latest financial result. Quote, with the release of Season 2 in June, Marathon has maintained a high user retention rate while also acquiring new users. Like, that doesn't even sound believable. I mean, like, I guess technically it can be true. Like, there are still people playing the game, and we had a few new people join. But it's like, what are those numbers? What come on, what are those numbers really, though, Sony? What is Marathon? Sony highlighted Saros in its financial results. They say Saros received high acclaim with a Metacritic score of 88 and is steadily expanding its user base. Leaning on the Metacritic score. Yikes. Sony says it expects Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, Marvel's Wolverine, and God of War Lao Fei to continue to drive performance in its PlayStation business. And yeah, they will. They will. I think they're right about that. Sony CFO Lin Tao says discs are not a big factor of differentiation between PS5 and PC. Quote, we don't feel that the disc is the factor to differentiate from the PC. Our strength is the curated content. That's one of our strengths. The game environment being stable, that's another strength. And compared to high-end gaming PCs, our products are more affordable. So we don't feel that the disc itself is a strong factor for differentiation. So going forward, we can coexist peacefully peacefully with PC games. Dude, that's so we can coexist peacefully with the PC scum. Oh, Sony. That's crazy that they're saying that. I mean, I think they're not wrong necessarily, but like it's just insane to hear Sony downplay the physical disc. Like, oh yeah, you know that thing that literally defined the PlayStation brand with the PS1 that separated us from Nintendo, that literally made Nintendo leave us, but we went through with it anyway, and it was a resounding success. You know the thing that literally defines our success from the beginning? It's not that important. It's like, okay. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. The disrespect. Put some respect on that disc. For real, though. This is the second time they defended the console from PCs. No way they're not scared of PC. Well, I mean, like I said, it's like I said, man, like, unless you have literal morons running PlayStation, which you could, but I mean, it'd have to be like at a high level of stupidity. Steam exists. Steam is like setting new records with users and players, and they're growing it's growing in popularity. There's no way Sony can just be like, do so at your own risk, Sony. Do so at your own peril. I say this as somebody who isn't even like, I'm not like a major Steam player at all, as you guys know. But it's like this, I'm acknowledging the reality that Steam should be seen as competition for Sony if they're going, like, first off, they should be seen as competition no matter what. But especially if you're going digital only, they are now your biggest competition. That's that right there is Sony's current reality, where it's like, if you're going through with this and you're kind of strong arming it a bit, where it's like, we're doing this, even though we're getting pushback, we're doing it. Steam is your number one competitor now. And right now, digitally speaking, in terms of how they run a digital ecosystem, they're kind of lapping you. So that's okay for now, because you're still offering physical games, right? You're going to offer them for the rest of this year and all of 2027. After that, though, they're your number one competition. So surely they're going to prepare for that. We have Jay Plays Casual. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat, my friend. He says PlayStation was dominant because they were accessible and affordable. If the PS6 is going to be 1K plus and all digital, they remove all that, making staying on their platform questionable. Nintendo will win, and PC. God help Sony if Nintendo decides they want to make a normal console again. Nintendo could do the funniest thing. They'll be like, you know what? When the Switch 2 is done, we're making a normal console, we're going to discs. They could do the funniest thing, man. I don't know. I doubt Nintendo would do that, though. Could you imagine? Like, could you imagine the level of full circle that would be? Where like Sony abandons discs for the PS6 generation, halfway into the PS6 generation, Nintendo announces their next console. It's a normal console, and it will have discs. It will play discs. I'm just saying it would be so funny because Nintendo left Sony back in the day because they didn't want nothing to do with the disc. Crazy. Crazier things have happened. Stranger things have happened. But yeah, Jay, you're not wrong, man. This is something that it's going to be really difficult to not continue to talk about as we move forward, because we're looking at a situation where the component crisis isn't going to be alleviated anytime soon. Not this year, not next year, possibly not even in 2028. There's no signs that it's going to be alleviated. And so when you consider that, and we talk about the pricing of, I mean, that's the thing. What makes a console appealing? One of the biggest things that has always made a console appealing is its price. Now, I understand the reality, which is, well, if a PS6 with cutting edge RDNA 5 technology is going to be $1,000, how much more would you have to pay to get that, to get the equivalent gaming wise on a PC? Probably more. But this is where Sony better hope that the majority of people don't decide that, you know what, if I'm going to have to pay a premium, I may as well pay a little bit more to get, you know, to have more freedom, to have more options, right? That's something that Sony really has to consider. No, Irfan, I'm talking about like a like if you wanted to buy a PC equivalent to a PS6, like this does the exact same thing performance-wise that a PS6 does. It probably will be more expensive than the PS6, all in all. The question is how much more expensive. I don't know. We're gonna find out, guys. We're on our way. I think we got a lot of great games coming, and you know, I don't want to. So much of this conversation and a lot of the conversation in general, you know, it's based upon what comes next. And by next, I don't mean like next month. We're talking like the next generation, the next step forward. And here's something that we do have to consider, though, that this might be the most important part of all of this, right? It's that regardless of what happens with the PS6, it seems clear that Sony's going to have an established install base of PlayStation 5 users, or not users, but consoles of over 100 million. So no matter what happens, Sony will be able to lean on that. That's something worth considering. Ray, you're saying Lego PlayStation 1 leaked PlayStation Lego set comes with a free bonus gift. What is an Astrobot themed gift? Oh, I didn't even know there was going to be a Lego PlayStation 1. Damn. How much is it going to be? Like $100? It's probably going to be expensive. Probably going to be expensive. All right, we have some more data to go over, though. So Shinobi 602 over on X. And by the way, guys, before we get into it, if you are enjoying the stream, please take a moment, hit that like button. All right, it helps the streams more than you know. And if you want to support what I do here directly, like I said, consider becoming a member, gifting memberships, super chats, direct donations, all that good stuff. Thank you to everybody who has dropped any support so far. Shinobi 602, PlayStation Q1 fiscal year 2026 results between March and June. PS5 has reached 95.3 million consoles shipped life to date. 1.6 million PS5 consoles were sold in Q1. That's down by 36% year over year. Overall sales are at $5.8 billion for the quarter. It's up 0.6%, but essentially flat. That's what Sony's saying themselves. It's impacted by a decrease in sales of hardware and third-party games. Operating income / profit increased by 37% thanks to U.S. tariff refunds. So that's important to keep in mind. They now have 125 million monthly active users. That is up 2% year over year. Here's a big one. Digital download ratio. This is between this March and June. 82%. And it is worth noting that counts all PlayStation 5 games that are digital only and do not have physical releases. We're going to come back to that number. It continues, negatively impacted by increase in costs, notably investments in what they are calling their next-gen platform development and restructuring costs. Addressing the global memory shortage, Sony said it has secured the quantity of memory necessary to meet our projected sales volume for fiscal year 2026, and there's no change to our plan for hardware profitability for fiscal year 2026 to remain similar to fiscal year 2025. So it sounds like somehow Sony has managed to, I mean, I don't want to say they won't increase the price of the PS5 again, but it seems like they figured something out where they're good for at least the next fiscal year. And considering GTA 6 is launching, they must have secured a lot. I don't know how, but yes, and we'll talk about that next. 8 ways Sony must improve the PlayStation Store to prepare for the all digital future. I want to go back to something here though. I want to go back to the part where it says Sony revealed that for Q1 fiscal year 2026, March 2026 to June 2026, the digital download ratio was 82%. This right here is why I think Sony is out of their minds. I'm got to be honest. It's like 82% is the majority. But that means 18%, nearly 20%, which is nearly 1/5. I want you to think about how many games PlayStation sells over the course of a 3-month period. I'm talking across the board. All the software they sell over the course of 3 months. Nearly 20% were bought physically. This is why. Like, dude, that's Sony's own data. That's not Matt Piscatella. Not saying that his data isn't accurate. It's not a third party. It's not Christopher Dring. It's literally Sony having to tell the shareholders 18% of all our sales this last quarter were physical games. 18%, almost 1/5. And I'll tell you this right now. What makes that number almost a little bit, how do I want to word this? Like, it's not that it's not true, but it's like it's skewed in a way that's almost a little bit unfair. Where 82% of those digital purchases, the reason why the number is that high is because it is counting every single small indie game that is released on the PlayStation Store. Where the vast majority of those games, some of them being made by singular developers, are not obviously getting physical releases, so there is no opportunity to even buy those games physically. This to me, like, people aren't talking about this, at least not that I'm seeing. You know, I trust me, I understand. I said it myself at the beginning of the stream. I don't plan to just make this the only thing I talk about going forward, and it's not going to be. But I know people are tired. They're tired of hearing about the same thing. They're tired of the constant talk about discs and all that. I get it. But it's like, dude, this is damning, in my opinion. Like, this to me is the unfortunate, and I mean genuinely unfortunate proof that Sony, this can't be treated like a situation where it's like, come on, man, get with the times. Nobody's buying physical anymore. Who cares? Everything is digital only. Dude, almost 1/5 of all of Sony's software sales over the last 3 months were physical. Simply put, that narrative is false. It's not true. It's literally not. That's not me saying it because I want to paint my own narrative. That's me telling you that nearly 1/5 of all Sony sales were physical this last quarter. This last quarter. Not last year. Not in 2022 when the Insomniac hack came out. This last quarter. But Sony's going to come out here and tell you, we believe that the future is all digital. Okay. What do you have to say to the 18% of sales being physical? What do you have to say to all the people who who purchased those games physically. What do you have to say about 1/5 of your total sales this last quarter being physical? Do you have anything to say? No, they don't. They don't. And that's the problem. That right there is the problem, guys. The problem isn't that you buy your games digitally. The problem isn't that the majority of people buy their games digitally. MBG, here's the crucial point you're missing. They're betting that this 82% will reach 90 to 95% by January 2028. That's why they announced it early. I'm pretty sure they'll be right come January 2028. I mean, maybe. But that's it. See, that's it right there, Irfan. That's exactly why I said what I said in my video today, and exactly why I refuse to be gaslit by people on X, because that's all that place does is gaslight. You know, how much of that 1/5 is actually being sold, but not just sitting on store shelves. I mean, that's something worth considering. It is worth considering that. Maybe the percentage could be slightly lower. But it seems pretty clear to me that it's not going to be something like it's 5%, it's 8%, it's 9%. This is why I said what I said in my video today, where I'm like, this is the window. The next year is your time. Physical buyers, rise up. I'm laughing, but I'm also being serious. It's like, if now's your time. Time to shine, bucko. You're looking at 18%, my friend. You're looking at 18%. Guess what? You got 9 to 12 months to get that percentage up as high as you possibly can. Because I'll tell you what, and this is just the truth. What Irfan said is true, right? He said that it seems clear that Sony is banking on the notion that 1 year from now, that percentage is going to be like significantly higher. Like, it went from 82%, now it's at 91%. Maybe even higher. Gee. It's almost like there's a game coming out that could do something like that. It's almost like there's a really big game that almost nobody can resist that's going to be digital only, that everybody, their mother, their grandmother, and their uncle is going to buy, that will inflate the digital ratio so much that it will be undeniable. I'm probably just being a conspiracy theorist again, though. MBG, this is the same company that thought Concord and Marathon and buying Bungie for billions was a good idea, and people don't know that they're shooting themselves in the foot right now. Oh, boy. Can't think of the game. But you see, this is why even when I sit here and I say to you guys, if we all rise up, okay, and we all buy our games physically for the next 12 months, or don't buy anything at all. I feel like it's getting more and more unrealistic to tell people not to do that. But let's just assume you buy all your games physically, and we're going to change the data. That's right. We're going to send the message, Sony, in the only language that you understand. Numbers. Well, not only do you have to contend with the fact that GTA 6 is digital only, but there's a second thing here that you have to worry about too. And I've experienced this myself firsthand. Anybody else notice, for those of you who buy physical PlayStation 5 games in the year 2026, anybody else notice that, like, it's getting harder and harder to actually secure a physical copy, even of the biggest AAA games? Like, I remember with Resident Evil 9, I I was told that my copy was going to come like a week or two later, like basically a second shipment, even though I pre-ordered it like weeks ahead of time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Luckily, it worked out. It's like, actually, no, we have your copy. It's coming. I remember with Pragmata, it's like I had to search for that game. Lego Batman, I purchased physically at Target. The day it came out, they were running behind. The woman at the who was running the game or the electronics section was like, hold on, I have to go in the back and open the box. And there was like 4 copies physically. And I'm like, so what I'm trying to point out here is that something else, another reason why I don't think we can win, even if we tried to do our part, and it's like we're all going to buy our games physically, is because it's like I think there's a layer of artificial scarcity being created. Because and you might ask yourself, like, well, why would they do that? Like, is it possible Capcom is trying to ship less physical games? Is it possible that all these AAA publishers are trying to ship less physical games? Probably. Number one, they don't want to overspend. They don't want to have, stockpiles of physical games sitting on shelves. Number two, I guess you got to buy it digitally. And you know what that means for us? That means more money for us. Yeah, Irfan, we talked about that yesterday on the video I made. Like, Square Enix seems to be, based off of what the director said, it's like they might make Final Fantasy Revelation digital only. And I'm like, you have to wonder if the biggest reason why this is happening is because, like, publishers want Sony to do it. And Sony's like, yeah, and not only is it going to help us, but it's going to rise, it's going to cause a rising tide for all the publishers as well. And yeah, dude, people were so upset in my comment section yesterday, understandably, when they were in disbelief. They were like, you're telling me Revelation isn't getting a physical game? And I'm like, that's, Square, maybe delay the game. You want to get off scot-free? You want to release it digital only, but you want to get off scot-free? Delay the game. Well, that's another thing. Apparently, Sony did confirm they're doing codes in a box. And, like, this is strange to me. Like, codes in a box, it only alleviates one of the minor issues. Just one that most people don't care about. Some people care about, and I admit I do care about this aspect. I do. But it's weird. It only alleviates the problem of, well, if you care about having a physical box on your shelf to display, we'll still let you have that. Wow, thank you, Sony. It's just weird. It's like, okay, maybe for some people that will be something that, okay, that matters to me, but it doesn't change anything else. It doesn't change that you can't resell it. You can't lend it. You don't have any ownership over it. There's no aspect of it is offline. Well, you can if you set your console to your home console, your main console, your primary console, you can play your games offline, even digitally if they're not multiplayer. But I think you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, like the vast majority of people are going to look at that and be like, what's the point? Like, sure, like, I think it's fine if you want to buy a code in a box and it's like, oh, I want to display the box. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I just think it's like, it's more offensive. It, like, from Sony's perspective, it's like, so you're going to go out of your fucking way you're still going to manufacture the boxes, the box art, put them on store shelves. They're literally just trying to take away the option of ownership here. Like this, it boils down to what we talked about. And I know that, again, not everybody views it this way. I'm not telling you have to view it this way. I'm not telling you have to let this keep you up at night, nor am I telling you have to let this stop you from enjoying your games, but it just is a reality, okay? It's something to at least be a little bit aware of. You know, spending your hard-earned money, you might want to be aware of this. Sony wants complete control of you in their ecosystem. They really don't want to give you any options. What Sony wants is for you to be the gamer that doesn't even think about this. Oh, okay, yeah, I want to buy a new game. Oh, this is the only way I can buy it? Okay, I'm going to buy it. And that's it. That's it. And then when you're done, you move on to the next one. That's what Sony wants. And I can't blame them because that's what they get a lot of times. That's what they get a lot of times. You know, they have a lot of casual gamers. And I don't feel comfortable trying to shit on casual gamers and be like, oh, you enjoy playing games? Well, how come you're not as angry as I am? But this is where it's like, I do think people should try to be aware, like just be aware that they're trying to, no pun intended, they're trying to box you in. It's up to you if you have a problem with that or not, but just know that's what's happening. And that's why I don't like the code in a box thing. There's like a small part of me that's like, oh, that's cool that you'll at least still have boxes on store shelves, but it's like, it's like an illusion, you know? And if anything, it just serves as a reminder of like, times have changed. Times have changed, Sonny. Yellow Snow Lover with a $2 direct donation says, fake outrage. How many physical PS1, 2, 3, and 4 games do you go back to regularly, MBG? Most barely touch collections. Those who do talking BS. I mean, that's fair. Like, I don't think it's fake outrage. To me, fake outrage looks something like, this means absolutely nothing to you, but you're for some reason saying it does. This doesn't mean absolutely nothing to me. You know? I won't bullshit you. I'm not going to sit here and say like my giant massive collection over the years. I'm a major collector. Got all my PS1, 2, 3, and 4 games. I don't. Although I will say this has changed my perspective on it, where now I'm seriously considering maybe amassing a bit of a collection working backwards. It's something I always thought about doing, but this is kind of pushing me over the edge. And I don't know if I'll go back and play them per se. Maybe I could if I really felt like it, you know? But the reason why I care about this is pretty simple. My experience with the video game industry has always been, whether, collecting aside, when I buy games, I buy them physically. I've sold many games. I've lent games to friends. This is how I've engaged with it. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is like, you don't necessarily have to come at it from that angle in order for it to be justified outrage or frustration. You don't have to come at it from the angle of like, I'm a collector and I'm a fucking mega nerd. Like, no, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think some of the collections I see people have, it's awesome. Like, I'm jealous. Makes me wish I kept a lot of my stuff. But coming at it from the angle of like, this is how I engaged with the medium of video games, and it kept certain options open that are now going away. Even people who amass collections, a lot of them, it's to sell one day. Enjoy it while you have it and then make some money back later on. And with some of these collections, they can make a lot of money. That's what I mean, where it's like, Sony's just like, nah, that's gone. Not saying the majority are doing that, but for those who are, it's like, this sucks. And guess what? The people who are doing that, somebody clip it, MBG calls video game collectors mega nerds. Hey, I'm a mega nerd. We're all, as far as I'm concerned, the fact that we're all here having this conversation, we're all mega fucking nerds. All right. So what I'm really trying to say is, if you have a giant collection like that, you're a mega ultra nerd. Damn, mega ultra nerds. I'm on my way. I'm next. Kaz Jam with a $5 super chat says, I expect to play my games whenever I feel like it, even if it's years later. I have plenty of physical retro games that I might go years without playing. And yeah, it depends on who you ask. I don't normally go back and play older games. It doesn't mean I haven't thought about it. And to be honest, I don't know what it's like. I don't know what I would do right now. If I did keep my PlayStation 2 and my PlayStation 1 and I kept a lot of the games I had and they were just there, I don't know if I would ever hook it up. I mean, I'll tell you what, like I can tell you this, if I did have those things right now, like if I had kept them over the years, I would absolutely hook them up to show my son, and that's kind of why I'm kicking myself in the ass. Like, why did I get rid of all that? Now, I moved a lot, like I said, growing up, and you end up just losing shit, but I can say I would at least do that. But for some people, yeah, being able to go back and play their older games matters a lot. It matters a lot to them, And for those people, I feel bad because it's like, yeah, dude, that's it's not that you won't be able to do that with digital games, but it feels like it's being reconstructed in a way that, again, I'll reiterate, it just simply feels too soon. It simply feels too soon. I don't see why it would be so difficult for Sony to just say, we're going to do at least one more proper gen for physical games. And Steven Family Leon, long time no see, buddy. Member for 34 months. He says, bro, I understand why you are speaking out. For me, it's about choice. I want the option. If I can't play the way I want to, then the PS6 is a no-go. That's coming from Steven Family Leon, bro. Sony, you hearing this? They're literally selling you a record player. You're right. Dude, somebody dropped this comment on my X account today, and they just dropped a picture of a vinyl record. I think it was Sony's new vinyl record player, and they're like, Sony's trying to sell you this while simultaneously telling you they can't do physical PlayStation discs. And it's like, dude, I don't know even what to say. It's like, it's so, this is what I don't get. It's like, Sony, you're doing this too soon. Like, that is a reality we are witnessing in front of us. You're selling a new vinyl record player, and Sony also produces a lot of music through Sony Music, some of the biggest artists, and they're going to sit here and be like, yeah, but when it comes to video games, how about a code in a box? How's that sound? It's like, I just can't get over the fact that Sony is coming out here and they're telling us the numbers at 82%. Not saying that is the majority. That's like over 4/5. I get it. That is the majority. But why can't they understand? And maybe they do understand, but why can't more people understand that 18% is like, that's not a small percentage. Like 18% of total sales is like, that is consequential. Like, let me put it to you this way. If those 18% of sales just disappeared for Sony, they would feel it. It wouldn't, collapse their business in on itself, but they would feel it and it would hurt them. It's substantial. It is consequential. And that's why it is sad to see that the mentality that Sony ultimately has is, it's more than those who buy records. It's just sad that the mentality they have is like, well, you'll either buy the code in the box or you'll just buy the game. And like, man, I know I sound like a broken record, but I hate seeing the weaponization of the games. That's my weakness. I think that's a weakness of most others. It's like, but don't you like this game? Don't you want to play these games? It's like, yes, we want to play the games, but like, I almost feel jealous that people who are, aficionados in other mediums of entertainment, like movies, TV, books, vinyl, CDs. CDs are making a comeback to a degree. Like, I hate that they don't have to deal with this, But like we do, like gamers, you do. That is what starts to get. That's what starts to get my blood pressure up a little bit. It's like, why? Because Sony said so? Because the market said so? Last I checked, the majority of all other markets are also digital, but nobody else is coming out and being like, we're ripping the Band-Aid off, we're doing it now. Nobody else is doing that. That's why it gets so frustrating, where it's like, it literally doesn't have to be this way. MBG, did you see Mystic's thumbnail today? Wait, what? No. Been playing since the first release of PlayStation. Yeah, I've been there since the PS1 as well, man. I remember sitting at my desk. I had like a little desk set up. Had a CRT TV, and had my PS1. It was right in front of me, and I'd have all the discs, and I'd always be switching them out, switching games. I remember. It was awesome. It's not exactly like that now, but it is. It's an unfortunate situation, and it's like I said, it's not something I'll just be able to perpetually talk about. But it's not going away, I don't think. What is this though? Here's something this is worth noting as well. PlayStation's fiscal year 2026 Q1, April through June, physical versus digital games revenue. Digital game revenue, $1.2 billion. Physical game revenue, $128 million. But if I'm not mistaken, just so we're clear, that revenue, right? The billions, I mean, that's coming from microtransactions, correct? You get 900 games on Steam, been in 22 years. Didn't have to be this way, Sony, but here we are. Probably because you need to make PS5 games, right? I don't think you need anybody else to make a vinyl or CD. The copy protection just isn't there. Need better games. Moving the PC is expensive. That's true. Not going to get mad over this. It's what happened to PC. It's hard. I can adapt. Doesn't mean I like it. Yeah, I think that's what makes it so tough, man. And that's why I don't know. That's like literally, it has stressed me out this month. Legitimately. Like, I'm not saying it's to be clear, my blood pressure was already high prior to this. But there's definitely been like, it's stressful because I cannot deny that, like, there's just too many great looking games. Like, I have to be honest with myself in that, like, dude, you can say what you want. You can tell yourself you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And some of those things you will do. But the one thing you cannot deny is, like, you're going to play games. And it's like, yeah, I can't deny it. I can't deny it. Like, I could lie to myself in the mirror for, every day. And then the day comes and it's like, pretty much I'm like SpongeBob when he was dehydrated. I don't need it. I don't need it. I got to make that a soundbite, bro. That would be, I mean, that's, and I know I'm not the only one. Let's stay on the couch and eat snacks. But this is why it was important to me, and it still is. Like, I was watching the new Gears of War gameplay yesterday. It looks great. Honestly, it really, I gotta admit, it really looks like the Coalition got their stuff together. Probably gonna play that on Steam. Hell, depending on where I am at the time, maybe I'll even buy an Xbox to play it. I was watching a review today on the Switch 2, and who was it that was doing the review? Wolfden? Is that his name? I think that's who it is. And he put out this review basically saying like the Switch 2 is I think it was something like it's the best like secondary console or something. And yeah, I'm looking at these things because it's just like if I'm gonna accept that I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna walk away from games. I know for a fact I can't just be a retro gamer. I could lie to myself and say, oh yeah, go retro gaming. I could for maybe a little bit, but I'm gonna want to play new games. And a part of that is I know I can't walk completely away from PlayStation. There's no way I'm gonna do that. They are holding the games hostage, and they got me. They got me. But that's where it's like, I at the very least I don't want to, if that's the truth that I'm going to, experience, because it just is, I am who I am. I at least want to not continue to send the completely wrong message to Sony, which is like, you get all my time, you get all my money, and it's all going to you. No, I want to, on a more personal level, like seriously, like what I'm doing with my own finances and what I'm doing with my own time. It's like I want to spread the field. I feel like that if that can be my only contribution, realistically speaking, it's something. It's something. And I don't know how things will evolve over time. I don't know how it will evolve over time. A lot of it hinges on what comes next. For the short term, I at least feel good. I don't know if good is the right word to use. Feel content enough, I suppose, that it's like, okay, I will have a year and a half to buy any games I want physically from PlayStation. And there will be other games that I will probably play on Steam, and we'll see what happens when I eventually get a Switch 2 and where that leads. And who knows? Like I said, I'm curious to see what happens with Project Helix, but this is just where it's like, I keep focusing on the PS6 because there's a real possibility, depending on how Sony handles it, that the PS6 is like, dude, this is lame. Like this is weak, not literally like in terms of performance, but it's just like, this isn't like, I've seen so many people be like, once the January 2028 cutoff date happens, like, I'm out. And I'm so curious to see what that actually looks like. Like the amount of people that are saying that, it's like, if that's a real thing and it's not just talk, Sony's going to come January 1st, 2028, Sony's going to feel they might experience the biggest hit they ever have. If that's true. If people are basically like, and that's my endpoint, I'm getting off the ride here, the PlayStation ride. That's kind of crazy. Try to enjoy things in the context in which I originally did. I don't get much joy out of physical since they removed manuals and stuff. Yeah, true. That was a pretty big part of it. You can still be a collector at heart, even with the cutoff. And that's true. Yeah, you still can. Boycotting won't make a difference. There's just too many casuals that don't even care and are unaware of the whole issue. I mean, yeah, it does seem that way. You pre-ordered E-Day today, Virko? Steven, you're saying you did not play Halo. It was coming to PC. Then Microsoft bought Bungie. I never played an Xbox game. I never liked Microsoft. Linux may be my next OS. I've been hearing really good things about Linux. I haven't used Linux personally, but I've been hearing like, I've been seeing a lot of people basically saying they're switching to Linux. They're like done with Windows. I have no experience with Linux, so I can't speak to it. Irfan, thank you for the clip, bro. Thank you for the clip. buy all my PS5 games used. It's an interesting option. Yeah. Somebody kept recommending GameFly. GameFly is an interesting option for sure. You do know that Steam has DRM? Yes. Yeah. I mean, Steam, this is why I'm saying, like, now more than ever, the focus, after hearing what Sony said, the focus is going to have to shift to, consumer rights when it comes to digital purchases. It is going to have to shift to that because the reality of the situation is that this is probably happening and we're not going to be able to stop it. And if Steam, unless Steam goes away overnight, Sony's got to do something, man. Like, there's this article from Push Square. It says it's been almost a month since Sony announced its decision to cease manufacturing physical games in 2028, and it hasn't uttered a word since. Until today. While parts of the PlayStation community plot a blackout in protest, I think it's also worth considering how the company could improve on its existing digital marketplace. If we are to endure an all-digital future, then I think there are several meaningful strides the company should take towards making its storefront better. As things stand, it could be argued the PlayStation Store is the worst of all gaming marketplaces. Christ. Regardless of how much money it accumulates, here are several areas we'd like Sony to invest in, not necessarily as a replacement for physical media, although that does increasingly feel like it's going to be the case, but as a commitment to its customers to make its digital shopping experience better. And so the first one, hold on. A proper refund policy. Sony doesn't have a refund policy for the PlayStation Store, really. The company will occasionally make exceptions in particularly egregious situations, like with Cyberpunk 2077, but generally, you're not eligible for a refund on digital PlayStation games. This needs to change. As things stand, the platform holder may give you a refund if you don't trigger the download on a game that you bought. But once you've started pulling data, you're pretty much completely out of luck. We think this is unacceptable in 2026. Steam, for example, will allow you to refund a game if you played it for less than 2 hours. This gives you time to see whether it's for you or not. It's a particularly generous policy that has led to exploitation, with one indie developer complaining recently that people were getting a refund on his relatively short game after finishing it. Personally, we think a 30-minute session should be enough. I can agree with that. 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And it would be better than what we currently have, which is nothing at all. It'd be much better. Agreed. I agree with everything it said. By the way, guys, as we continue to read through this and continue our discussion, please hit that like button. All right. If you're enjoying the stream and you want to help the stream out, hit the like button. If you want to support what I do here directly, consider becoming a member. Consider gifting memberships. We got 15 members today. We'll see if we can get that number higher before this stream is done. And you can also drop a super chat or direct donation. Thank you to everybody who has been doing so. Well, let me come back to the chat here for a minute. There's always GOG if you want DRM free, for sure. The only thing about GOG is that it doesn't get nearly as many games, and a lot of games come very late to it. So it can be hard if you're somebody who wants to play as many games as you can, and you want to be there within the release time frame. It's not always the case, but never had any security issues with Microsoft, with either Xbox or Windows. Really? None. Not a single one. Not a single one. And Steven Family Leon, he comes in. Bro just dropped a 20 on you guys. Steven just dropped a 20. He says, okay. Steven, thank you so much for that, man. Very, very generous. That's a lot of memberships that man just gifted. And he just took us to 35. And Luna is here. Luna is in position. I was hoping she would be. Guys, Steven just dropped 20 for you. He wants a train. He wants us to hit the 50 mark today.
All aboard!
Steven, are you like Married with Children? You know the show, Married with Children? Do you recognize that? I'm going to give Luna some catnip. Are you ready? Here we go. I think Luna likes the catnip better than the treats. What kind of show are we on? Yeah, thank you for that, man. That was very, very kind of you, Steven. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Luna probably would like those too. I don't know. Boss is lazy these days. He's lazy. You know what it was? I was eating a piece of grilled chicken for lunch before I was streaming, and I gave him a little bit. Gave him some chicken. I think he's satiated. Yeah, Luna comes here regularly now. She's like, I'm here for my fix. Good for her, though. I'm glad. Like, I'm actually really glad that Luna likes the catnip, and it seems to relax her a little bit, chills her out, because she's a very high strung cat. She's on her catnip. I'm on my blood pressure medication. It's all good. It's all good. I wonder where my blood pressure is right now. I feel okay. I have some slight pain, but 45 more days until Wolverine. But yeah, appreciate all the support you guys show the channel, really. It's been, a crazy month, and it's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy couple years, if we're being honest. So I just want to, take a moment to let you guys know how much I appreciate what you do for, not just me personally, but the channel as a whole and the community. And I do want to just say, because we got 20 more members gifted, if you did receive a member gift, I did a couple of different types of member-exclusive videos, some gameplay commentaries, which I've been getting some really positive feedback on, and I'm going to continue to try to put those out. I got to be careful. I tend to get overly ambitious with what I want to do with member content, but so far we did a members lounge the other week, and we'll continue to do more members lounges. We'll continue to do the gameplay commentaries, and we'll see. We'll see where else we can go with the members content. I have some ideas. I do, but I gotta take it one step at a time. I always do that thing, right? I get overly ambitious. I got all these ideas, and I get overwhelmed by it, and then I end up doing nothing. So taking it slowly this time. Yeah, that's a game I'm really waiting for. The Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Dude, I gotta say, I saw that apparently there's a beta now, or a demo. Not a beta, a demo for Mortal Shell 2. I'm like, fantastic. That game looks incredible. I played the first one. It was good, but the second one looks really good. So I want to try that, honestly. I do want to try that. I saw there was there's going to be a beta for Gears multiplayer as well. If there's is there an open beta for that? I think they said the open beta is on August 13th. I might try that. I don't know, though. Gears multiplayer, I could not get into it. I couldn't figure out the meta. It was too much for me. Perfect Image, a member for 29 months. Thank you for that, Perfect Image. He says, MBG, I have both Switches and 2 CPUs, so if Sony doesn't give me some type of ownership digitally, I will be going to my other consoles. And that's fair. That's fair. Perfect Image. You got to do what you got to do, man. Mortal Shell 2 beta now available for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. With just over 2.5 weeks until launch, we have one more surprise to share. Starting now, the Mortal Shell 2 beta is available on consoles. We've marked the occasion with an all-new trailer. The Mortal Shell 2 console beta is the same beta as the version currently available on Steam. I didn't know there was beta version on Steam. I probably would have tried it already. With all the same benefits. With this beta, you can play the first 3 hours of the full game. Wow, that's pretty generous. 3 hours? And should you ever purchase the main game, you'll have the option to skip the prologue section. Those who play the console beta for more than 30 minutes will also unlock the Flayed Harbinger, an exclusive cosmetic reward available to redeem for the full game at launch. Porting the PC beta to console is, by some margin, the request we have received the most, so we're delighted to be able to answer the call. And this game does come out August 20th, and it's worth noting that they had a physical version of their like Devout edition or something, and it sold out. Who would have thought? Bro, you are getting a lot of hate from some PlayStation dudes for your opinion. I think you meant to say opinion. Hey, I may not agree with everything, but who does? Well, that's why I really, without going over the top with it, like I really try to express my genuine gratitude towards many of the people on my channel. I mean, I may not be the biggest streamer. I'm a very small streamer in my eyes. But it's like if I get 150, 200 people, more than 200 people, if I was standing in a room with 200 or more people, I would be crapping my pants. Like having to talk in front of them. But the idea that there's that many people that understand where I'm coming from, where I am, they are treating me like a person. Like they're showing up not because it's tell me what I want to hear. They're showing up because I want to hear what you have to say, whether I agree or disagree. You know, and I really genuinely appreciate that on a level that, well, if I'm being completely sincere, like that's the difference maker. The fact that after all this time, those are the people who are showing up. Those are the people who are still supporting. You know, it's been what helps get me through a lot of sometimes the stressful moments on the channel and other things going on in my life where it's like, don't lose sight of the fact that there's still people here that genuinely care about, you know, talking about this stuff with you, and they care about you to an extent, you know? And it's easy to forget that. It's easy to overlook that because, again, a lot of times for me, I'm just seeing numbers on a screen. I'm seeing names on a screen and profile pictures. But when I take a step back, it's like these are real people that are taking time out of their life to not only listen to the words coming out of your mouth when they could be listening to anything else and spending their time doing anything else, but a lot of these people are also spending money to support you. It's humbling, you know, it's humbling, and I really try not to take it for granted. But you know, if the only thing I can truly offer you guys is you'll get me, family, yeah, you're just gonna get me for who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. That's all I can promise. But thank you guys, really. We have a perfect image with a $5 super chat. He says, this gen, I didn't play with the missus and my daughters, so this is the time to do so, I guess. It would give me the opportunity to play past games as well. Yeah, now's a good time, I'd say. Now's a good time. I recommend Overcooked. That's a game I played a lot this generation with Mrs. MBG. We had a good time with that. Ended up getting a platinum for it. Be careful, though. Be careful. It can become frustrating. Be forewarned. Titus says, we appreciate everyone in the community. What about if it was in front of 200 cats? Yeah. Steven says, I'm not an MBG fanboy. We talk about more than gaming. To me, family is how I see it. Exactly. I appreciate that. I mean, you guys take care of me. You take care of my family, literally. You know, you allow me to do what I do here. And I have a lot to be grateful for. Really, I do. Doesn't mean everything's perfect. You know, doesn't mean I'm always happy. Doesn't mean I'm always feeling good. But you know, I've learned a lot over these years, certainly. Yeah, let's go back to this article though, so we can. So, Gears is a good kids game, yeah. Yeah. All right, hold on. Okay, yeah. So we're back on the Push Square article. This Push Square article is listing 8 things that they believe Sony needs to change when it comes to the PlayStation Store if they're going to go digital only. The first was a refund policy. The second is, and this is a huge one. Like, if Sony did something like this, I mean, it would be pretty huge, man. And it just sounds so unrealistic. The ability to trade and sell digital games. I mean, Sony, do it. No balls. That'd be a big one. That'd be a big one. It says one of the reasons people prefer physical games is because it gives them the flexibility to lend titles to friends, resell them, or give them away. None of this is possible with digital games, but there's no reason it shouldn't be. In theory, it should be possible to temporarily share a digital license with another account, or even permanently reallocate it. I understand digital media doesn't spoil like physical items, which can be taken out of their shrink wrap, damaged, or soiled. Soiled it. But I think some kind of sensible solution giving users actual ownership over the digital content would unquestionably build trust in its ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, dude, if Sony announced something like that for digital games, people would be singing their praises. But I just, I will say this. The one thing that Sony does have that has gotten very close to being able to lend a game, lend a little bit, is what's it called? Like, you can share your controller or something. It's not exactly the same as what they're saying here, but it is interesting that that's stuff that Sony has been dabbling with this generation, where it's like, oh yeah, you can let your friend in a party chat or whatever, like, play your game or something for, like, I mean, there's like a limit to it. You can keep doing it over and over again, but I think there's like a limit of like an hour or something. Game sharing? No, that's not what it's called. It's not game sharing. I think it's called screen sharing. But I don't know. Maybe Sony would be willing to share play. There you go. Maybe Sony would be more willing to take it to the next level, if they felt that it could win people over, maybe. And Hellbound 1981, another legend. Did you guys see Arnold's post yesterday on X? Hellbound comes in and he drops another 5 member gifts for you, and just like that, we are only 10 away from hitting the goal today. 10 away. Hellbound, thank you so much for that, bro. Thank you so much for that. You like that soundbite? Dude, I was asking if you guys saw Arnold on X yesterday because it was his birthday. Oh, Steven, I do have a P.O. box. Ray, if you're in the chat, I see you're in the chat. Do you think you could drop the P.O. box? I forgot. Yeah, Steven, I totally forgot. You mentioned that in the past, the idea of me getting a P.O. box. I think the P.O. box is going to be open until the end of August. So Ray will drop the P.O. box number, RU46N2 Ray, one of my mods. He'll drop the P.O. box address in the chat. Or Irfan, what did you do it already? Wait till MBG discovers Steam family sharing. Wait, what's Steam family sharing? Hold on, Nicodemus. Yeah, Steven, there you go. If you can see Ray, P.O. Box 127, Ray dropped the P.O. Box number or address in the chat. So if you're serious, and I know you've been wanting to, we've been talking about opening a P.O. Box for a long time. It should be open until the last day of August, I believe. I think Michael's trying to send something. I'm curious to see what Michael's going to send. I'm a little nervous. Oh, thank you, Irfan. You can have one account, buy a game for like 6 other people and they can all play for free. Are you? Hmm? Excuse me? Hold up. Hold up. Okay. Steam Families is a feature that lets you share your digital library with up to 5 other people in your household. Key rules include sharing games, simultaneous play, and parental controls. Shared libraries. All shareable games owned by family members automatically show up in everyone's library list. Play at the same time. Multiple people can play different games from the shared pool at the same time. If your family owns one copy of a game, only one person can play it at a time. Okay, that's an important one though. See that's kind of the caveat. Dude, there had to be something. I'm like, what? That's fair though. That's still a big deal. But only one person can play. If you only own one copy of the game, only one person can play it at the time. If you own 2 copies, 2 people can play it together. Personal progress. Every player keeps their own save files, cloud saves, and achievements. Parental controls. Adults can set time limits, restrict what games children can play, and approve or deny requests to buy new games. Rules and limitations. Same country. So you got to be in the same country. 1 year wait. If you leave a family group, you must wait 1 year before you can join or create a new one. Okay, that's fair. Shared bans. If another user is caught cheating using your copy of a game, your account can receive the ban too. Ooh, that could be sketchy. Not all games work. Free-to-play games and titles needing extra third-party launchers or keys cannot be shared. Interesting. I didn't know about this. Didn't know about that. You save thousands. Well, you know what? This is where, dude, like, holy shit. I mean, like, Sony, bro. What? This is, dude, this is what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even know this existed. Now the pressure is even greater. Like, Sony, you have to do something exactly like this. Like, literally, you have in my, it's just mounting more and more where it's like, if this is, granted, I guess I haven't paid any attention to this because I buy my games physically. I never really paid attention, but now I'm paying attention to these digital ecosystems and scoping them out and learning more about them. And it's like, Sony, oh my God, you are so behind. It's upsetting. Like now it makes more sense why even more people than, I'm saying this wrong. The ire and frustration that I've been seeing from people, like, it's beginning to make more sense. And it's like, dude, they gotta be planning an overhaul. Because that's crazy. That's crazy, man. Next time there's a big Steam sale, you should pick up a few dozen games. You get tons for like $5 pop. Yeah, let me know when there's a Steam sale again, and I'll go check it out. I've heard things about it. I mean, the PlayStation Store sales, from what I've seen, they're pretty good too. Like, I've come across some games on there that are like shockingly cheap, but people tell me that it doesn't compare to Steam sales. Like, Steam sales are like next level. But, oh, I just missed it? Shit. How often do they do them? Like 3 times a year, 4 times? Something like that. Titus is like, I'll let you know. MBG, your eyes have been open. There's no going back. Well, I don't know. It's like that, Nicodemus, but I'll tell you what, like, the more I learn about Steam, there's just no way. Oh, they do 4 to 5 a year? Okay. Listen, the more I learn about Steam, and you consider how big Steam is, in my opinion, there's just no conceivable way, unless Sony literally has given up. Unless they look at the PS6 as like, this is the last hurrah, it's over. Unless they've given up, there's no way Sony can go forward in this direction and not be planning to combat Steam. There's just no way, man. Like, I can kind of understand why Nintendo doesn't, because Nintendo's in this like unique space where it's like they're just doing their own thing, and nobody can really affect them. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess that works for you. I don't think Sony can exist in that same space. Not when there's things like not with how ubiquitous Steam is and how similar it's about to become to PlayStation. Not similar, but how closely tethered they're now going to be, being digital only ecosystems. They have to. That's crazy. I didn't even know that this was a feature. What does Sony offer? Does Sony offer any family game sharing plans? Sony does not offer a traditional paid multi-account family subscription plan like Nintendo's family online bundle. Even Nintendo? Oh, hold the phone. Hold on. Don't tell me. Nintendo's family plan. The Nintendo Switch Online Family membership is a 12-month subscription plan that lets up to 8 people share online gaming benefits for $35 a year or $80 per year if upgrading to the Plus expansion pack tier. It covers every account linked in a designated Nintendo account family group, regardless of whether members use separate consoles. Online multiplayer. Play compatible games like Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. With people worldwide. Save data through the cloud. Classic game libraries. Exclusive extras. But they don't have game sharing. It doesn't look like it, right? You can share games with this Nintendo plan? For Nintendo, it means all 8 people play online for $35, no game sharing. That's still really great, though. That, like, the idea that if you're gonna have to pay for online, that is kind of like, yeah, that's a perk that doesn't exist for PlayStation. I don't think Xbox has that either. What the fuck is going on, dude? Like, see, this is what happens. I get so lost in the PlayStation ecosystem, I ain't paying attention to jack shit, and Sony's been banking on that. Sony's literally banking on, like, you're not paying attention to what they're doing over there, right? It's like, no. Okay, good. But now I am. It's like, yo, Sony, this is getting crazy. Sony says, quote, in the future digital ecosystem, we will explore how do we engage the gamers, end quote. That's confirmation in my eyes. Perhaps. It could be a prelude. I mean, dude, I'll be honest, man. Like, the more I look around, it's like Sony has no choice. They have, like, all I can say is this. If Sony plans to go into the PS6 generation without making massive overhauls to the PlayStation Store, the network, and their policies and their features, they deserve to fail. And I don't think many people would disagree with that. If they plan to go in to next gen, literally just being like, we're only giving you less, and that's it, nothing else is changing, they deserve what they get. It makes no sense to do that. I have to admit, when I was raging at PlayStation earlier this month, I was doing so not even aware that all of these other things existed. This gives me hope. I won't lie. Like, it makes me realize there is more competition than I originally understood. At least in a common sense sort of way, where it's like, yeah, Sony, you're gonna have to pay attention to this shit. Hideaki Nishino, you got to be doing your homework, bro. Because, like, yeah, I can't believe it's so sad. Like, Sony does not offer a traditional paid multi-account family subscription plan. Instead, PlayStation provides free games and subscription sharing through built-in console settings like console settings and PlayStation family management tools. Hold on, they said subscription sharing. A designated family manager can set up individual accounts for children, control monthly spending limits, and restrict game access. Subscription sharing. Other accounts on your designated primary console can play online multiplayer and access downloaded monthly PS Plus games without needing their own paid subscription. I mean, yeah, but the console itself has to be shared though, and that to me, it's like if that's an area where the best way they could improve it is make it so it's shared through the family accounts, like that like literally that's what it should do. They got to do this stuff. If they and you know what, it goes beyond just physical games and digital games. Like if Sony wants to persist in a really meaningful way and they want to be the leader, right? Like that's the thing from their perspective. They want to lead. They want to be on top. You got to do this stuff. You got to make these improvements and make these changes because your competition through, even though it may not be as direct right now, but other ecosystems, even Nintendo, like is doing stuff that you're not willing to do. When Nintendo's willing to do stuff that you're not willing to do, things are getting real spooky. You can game share, yeah, with one other person. That is the one thing that Sony still lets happen. But I've always gotten the feeling they don't announce that as a perk. You know what I mean? Like they kind of keep that on the down low. And I'm like, I think you guys are just afraid to take that away. Like I don't think that was ever meant to purposely be like a thing. Like, oh yeah, that's a reason why you want to go all digital. They don't really talk about it. It seems like they don't want people to know about it. I've always gotten that vibe from both Sony and Microsoft. But Vlund with a super chat says, why do you say for Bungie to make a Halo game? They can't even do Marathon or Destiny. Halo's dead. We have CSGO, Fortnite, and Valorant now. All are free. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just figured because Halo seems to be struggling still, Bungie struggling, maybe Sony and Microsoft can strike a deal. I'm not saying it would be good, but I think Bungie's over. Like I'm trying not to talk about them too much because I have a feeling we're going to learn about Bungie's fate in the not too distant future, and I think it ends one way for Bungie. I'll be honest. I don't say this with any ill will. I think unless they can work something out where they're like, unless Bungie's given the task to make a dormant PlayStation property, like, yeah, we're going to make Resistance or Killzone or something. Unless they're given that task, I think it's over. And one of the biggest reasons I say this is because the people who made Bungie what it is, like, they're all gone. They're all gone. So you combine that with the fact that they don't seemingly have any actual plans on what to do next, and they're bleeding Sony a lot of money. They're still an extremely expensive team to run. I think it only ends one way for them, man. Unfortunately. We have Rich Rod 908 with a $2 direct donation. He says, what I miss? Who's acting up? Who am I banning? If we don't get 300 new, he says subscribers, 6 people will be banned for 6 months. Don't be a coward. Yes, of course. We once again have to threaten subscribe or else. Drop memberships or else. Rich, you'll be happy to know, though, we're 10 memberships away from hitting our goal today. You will be happy to know that. Irfan, you're saying, MBG, you know what? The current PlayStation Store is basically the same as what we had with PS4. By the time the PS6 arrives, 2 generations will have passed. It's almost certain that major changes will be necessary. Agreed. Yeah, like, you're right about that. They really haven't made any meaningful improvements. They just kind of, I don't know what the hell they were too focused on live service, bro. All right, let me go back to this article though. I'm about to take my blood pressure again. Sorry. I'm about to take it because I want to know, like, if the medication's working or not. I'll wait. I'll wait a little bit longer. What was it? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Let me go back to the article here. You need a banger song from Rich Rod today. The third thing they list here is a working wish list. The PlayStation Store has a wish list, but it's broken. I have over 100 games I genuinely want to buy on my wish list, but I can only load it on Sony's website, and it doesn't load on the console itself. This is crazy to me. The wish list is also riddled with UI flaws, like the fact you can't see the price of games included in the PlayStation Plus catalog, even if you may want to buy them rather than download them as part of your subscription. A big part of a game's promotional cycle has become the wish list. It's common to see publishers encourage you to follow a game long before it even has a release date. But if Sony is putting an increased emphasis on the feature, then it needs to build functionality fit for the purpose. The wish list should be a hub for your future game purchases. It should spotlight release dates and discounts and DLC drops, pertinent information about the games you've chosen to follow. And it should inform discoverability as well. At present, none of this works as it should, which, dude, yeah, I mean, that's crazy to me. Something as simple as the wish list being that broken? Come on, man. Come on. Like, Sony, come on. I mean, we're talking about the fundamentals at this point. This is why people are not wrong to say, like, as it stands right now, Sony seems ill prepared to usher in a digital only future. They got a lot of work to do. Am I going to pick up Death Stranding 1 and 2 on Steam? I was recently thinking about purchasing a PlayStation game on Steam and trying it out. Maybe not replaying the entirety of it. I just don't know which one. Because it'd be interesting to see what the experience would be like compared to playing it on my PlayStation. PS6 might be cooked. I don't want to. We'll see. Sony's in for a rude awakening. Either that, or it's like they know, and they're preparing. You would, dude. The more I marinate on all of this, the more I'm like, bro, Sony, you got to be working in the shadows right now, right? Right? Somebody? Anybody? Like your engineering team? Like, you're doing shit, right? The big fear is Sony's like, what are you talking about? Our store is great. Everything's fine. What are you talking about? That's the fear. The fear is that they're like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like, bro, some of it is broken, but you got to improve it also. I'll tell you this. If the leadership at Sony right now is not aggressively preparing major overhauls for the PlayStation Store and the entire digital ecosystem they have, they're going to get fucked up by everybody else. And it's like, there's no way they don't know that. Like, they would have to truly be clueless on a level that would be mind-boggling. They're going to get fucked up by Steam. They're going to get fucked up by Microsoft. They're even going to get fucked up by Nintendo, probably in some areas. They got to know this. They have to. They just have to. Even from like a legal perspective of their lawyers informing them, like, you're going to have to make some changes. So there isn't even a semblance of I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. It's purely in the realm of just logic and common sense, good business sense. There's just no conceivable way that Sony thinks they can waltz into another generation and be like, we'll just do exactly what we did with the PS4 and PS5, and that'll be fine. Again, do so at your own peril, if that's the case. Somebody inform these people. Somebody wake them up. Maybe, it was your Left 4 Dead stream that pushed me into getting a PC handheld. Plays PS2 and some PS3 decently. Nice, dude. Vlund with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, Vlund. He says, you talked before about GOG not having many games. It's mostly older, about 8,000. GOG was bought by the original guy as he didn't agree with the current CD Red. They are expanding to new games now. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I mean, I've follow GOG thing on Twitter now. Pretty sure I follow them, and I've been seeing them post. And GOG, I'll say, like, if they can figure out a way to get like more new releases like day one and still promise like they're completely DRM free, that would be a big deal, I think, for that platform. And I do think GOG is going to become more relevant because of what PlayStation's doing. Not necessarily saying everybody's going to flock to it. I don't think that's the case, but I think that more people will become aware of, like, listen, there's all these digital storefronts now. You can't buy physical games. Did you know you can make your own physical games through GOG? It's a process. You know, trust me, you want to make your own physical games, you're going through a process. But the point is you can own these games. Like, you can literally do whatever you want with them. Can't do that on Steam, can't do that on PlayStation, can't do that on Xbox, can't do that on Nintendo. Over time, that may become more and more appealing to people. Like, if GOG can secure more like AAA, big day one launches on their platform, yeah, I think they'll get more eyes on it. It just makes sense. But hold on, what was this that Titus was talking about? Yeah, there's no written reviews. You could literally buy slopware vibe coded game and you can't get a refund. Dude, I have to say, no written reviews might be the... Okay, the wish list thing is bad. The wish list being broken is the biggest, like, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? Like, this is where I get scared. I'm scared. I get worried that, like, dude, it I saw a video with a thumbnail. I didn't watch it, but I was fucking laughing at it. It was titled Concord Syndrome. And the thumbnail was so funny. It was one of the characters like lying flat with like an IV or something, like the breathing tube in their nose, and they looked like they were dying. And I'm just like, it's almost impossible to ignore Concord when continuing to talk about Sony, at least modern Sony, because the thing that I learned about Sony with Concord that actually frightened me about them, I'm like, oh no. Like, it was like an eye-opening moment, is like they didn't know. And it just, it reveals so much about how they're operating as a company internally. And it reveals so much about, like, it reveals how little they knew, how unaware they were. And it feels almost like it looking back on it, it felt like impossible, because it's like, how could you not know? Like, I'm not saying live on the internet and be chronically online, but like, how could nobody here know? And the term Concord Syndrome makes me laugh, because it's like, there is this kind of fear of, like, Sony doesn't know their wish list is broken on PS5. They just don't know. It's either that, or they do know and they don't care, which doesn't make any sense, because that literally is hurting their relationship with their partners, with giving people, leaving people the inability to properly wish list. Or the third thing, they do know, they don't know they don't know how to fix it. And all of these options are terrifying, because it's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you don't know how to fix it? What do you mean you don't care to fix it? What do you mean you don't know it's broken? It's like, it's unacceptable on all levels, where, thank God you got Insomniac, bro, about to deliver Wolverine. Thank God Rockstar Games exists and decided to partner with you at GTA, because what the fuck is going on over here? And no, yeah, Astrobot. See, the dynamic between Concord and Astrobot launching back to back. Concord, Astrobot. Flop of the generation, one of the games of the generation. It shows that there are enough people working at Sony PlayStation in charge of things to know, like, this is what we should do. Like, this is the right call. This is the right bet. But there's also like a whole other side to it where it's like the people, maybe it's the same people, but they're making decisions where it's like, this is absolutely the wrong call. Like, this is obviously overtly, it couldn't be more in your face, the wrong call. And yet some of those calls still get made. And that's where it's just like, I'm sorry, Sony. Well, I'm not sorry. If you don't want the PlayStation brand to like go down the drain slowly but surely, you don't want it to start circling the drain, starting with the PS6, you got to get your shit together. Like, there's too much pressure now. You're not going to, again, the PS5, the success of the PS5 was handed to Sony on a silver platter plate for like two main reasons. Number one, you had the momentum of the PS4 generation. The momentum of the PS4 generation got off to the strongest possible start it could have because of a cataclysmic failure event for the Xbox One, and that literally catapulted Sony. That momentum was so great, and Sony nailed what they needed to nail during the PS4 generation. Boom, just carries you over to the PS5. Number two, the PS5 succeeded because Xbox still couldn't get their shit together, and the competition was, for all intents and purposes, probably at the lowest level it ever was between Xbox and Sony, or you know, at the very least at the same low level it was with the Xbox One and PS4. I don't think Xbox. Listen, I don't know what's going to happen with Xbox, but I read over yesterday that again, Asha Sharma's plan. She's not fucking around. I don't know if her plan's going to work. Don't know if, but they're getting more serious. They're getting more serious about the console. They're getting more serious about exclusives. They're getting more serious about their big franchises and making sure these big franchises are what's going to propel Xbox forward. And they're getting more serious about expanding the Xbox ecosystem and also coming up with new features. We already see what Steam's doing, and we already see what Nintendo's doing. And it's like, Sony, you don't have the same you don't have the momentum. Bro, my cat's dead. Your cat's dead. No, he's not. He's good. You don't have the momentum. And so when I read over this list, I think I'm 3 out of 8 now. 3 out of 8. It's like, yeah, man. Well, you're saying Xbox is literally a corpse. I mean, it depends. Like, I think from what I gather, Xbox has one more shot. Xbox, Satya Nadella and Amy Hood are letting Asha Sharma, we're giving you, not Phil. We gave Phil like 15 shots. We're giving you the new CEO. We're going to give you an opportunity. Let's see what you can do. And that's why it's fascinating where it's like, oh, they're actually going to try again. Even after losing all this money. And they are, because I guess it's like the way Microsoft probably sees it is if Asha Sharma can't do it, then that's it. And if you look at Asha Sharma's approach, she seems to be, I mean, let's face it, all the things that she's saying, most of the things she's saying they're going to do are things that Sony's doing that has made the PlayStation 4 and the PS5 successful. And I'm like, dude, if they're starting to actually go in the direction of what Sony's doing and they succeed, that's the key. That's the key of it all. If they actually succeed, it could get real for Xbox. But the thing about Xbox though, man, is like the proof is going to have to be in the pudding. And the pudding isn't here yet. It's going to be a while till we get that pudding. And I don't know that the confidence is high. The confidence isn't high. I'll tell you what, man, like I'm definitely rooting for Xbox though. Like I realize now more than ever, like Sony needs competition directly. Like, Sony needs a competitor slamming on their door, threatening them. They need that right now. That's my opinion on it anyway, but the pudding hasn't even been back ordered. Yeah, I know. They're seemingly going to be all digital as well. Microsoft is trusting someone who has no expertise in gaming. Sure, she gets guidance from Satya. Yeah, but what Xbox is in desperate need of is a business savvy person who's going to be able to actually run the business. Phil was not that. He had some ideas, but it has become abundantly clear. Like, Phil didn't know how to run the business, dude. He had no idea what he was doing. Well, he like any ideas he may have had. It's like, you didn't think this through. Asha Sharma seems to be more cutthroat, more laser focused. I'm not trying to like sing her praises or anything, because who knows? Like, she has, trust me, these are just the early days. Like I said, people are looking at Asha as the savior the same way they looked at Phil as the savior. But it's just the very quick decide. It's easy for her to do what she's doing now because she's just undoing the mistakes that have made themselves clear through hindsight. It's what comes after that will determine whether or not she truly knows what she's doing. And that will be determined in the coming years. But we'll see. We'll see. They still have Game Pass at day one. It will be doomed to fail. When you have day one free-ish, you will not be profitable. My personal theory is I think they're going to slowly undo Game Pass in the coming months and years. And I think by the end of it, there are not going to be day one launches on Game Pass. I think, here's my hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take. Maybe it's not hot at this point because it does seem like they're telegraphing it. I think Game Pass is going to become exactly what PlayStation Plus Extra is. And I think, I think when you kind of saw people cheering about Call of Duty being removed, it's like, oh, you're saving a little bit of money. Oh, cool. Yeah, but we're taking away Call of Duty. It's like, okay, go ahead. It's like, I think from Microsoft's perspective, we're like, oh, well, we expected more backlash from that. She's Game Pass as Thanos. WG give up. Sony will not revert it. Well, Sony's got to do something. God damn it. But yeah, no, I agree. Rich, I didn't say they announced it yet. Calm down. Rich is getting ahead of himself. Yeah, Microsoft's probably going all digital as well. All right, let me go back to this article. So, the 8 ways that Sony needs to improve the PlayStation Store to prepare for an all-digital future. The first, proper refund policy. Number 2, the ability to trade and sell digital games. 3, a working wish list. Number 4, discoverability is so important. I'll give Sony a bit of credit. It has been removing a lot of digital. What word is this? Like, what fucking word is this? detritus? Detritus. What is that word, bro? I'm looking up this word because I've never seen this word in my life. Let's see. Oh, hold on. What is it? Detritus. A dead, non-living organic matter like fallen leaves, dead wood, animal remains, and waste product. Are you kidding me? This is a word they chose to use in their article to describe the slop. Detritus. Is that detritus? It means stuff that falls off a ship. They misspelled dog shit. Damn, man. But if you do that, a lot of their player base is trained to want Game Pass. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah. Yeah, they would have to do it slowly over time, almost to where it's like not noticeable. Atreus, I said it. I said it correct earlier. All right, well, let's try this again. The article says, I'll give Sony a bit of credit. It's been removing a lot of the digital slop, we'll just use that word, from the PlayStation Store as of late, but discoverability is still disastrous on PlayStation storefront, whether you're browsing on the console, website, or app. The store is great at pushing the biggest games in front of your face, but I think it does a poor job of surfacing the smaller games that may appeal to your buying habits. The company at least appears to understand this, as it's been talking a lot about how it intends to use AI to analyze players' purchasing habits and recommend more relevant titles moving forward. That's a good thing. The way I see it, it's in Sony's best interest to spotlight the software that each individual player will actually want. It's going to lead to stronger retention, tighter partnerships, and increased profits. Here's a rare example where improvements to the PlayStation Store could benefit both consumers and the corporate bottom line. So that's number 4. And I think we have a direct donation from Titus. Speaking of bad pronunciation, Titus Sergio, he drops a $5 direct donation, and he drops 10 member gifts. He does it. Titus. Thank you so much, man.
Holy shit.
He does it. He gets us to the 50 mark. I am very proud of you guys. Wow. It's the last day of the month. I wasn't even planning on streaming today. I did not think we would hit the 50 goal today. Impressive. I'm going to think about which game I want to do my next member gameplay commentary for. We'll try to deliver that next week. And I'll be sure. I wasn't able to do a members lounge this week, but we will certainly do one next week. Maybe I'll try to do 2. I don't want to overpromise. At bare minimum, though, next week you're getting a member exclusive gameplay commentary and a members lounge. We will be doing that. Luna, come here. Luna, do you want more? Hold on. Luna wants more catnip. And Titus, let me read what you said here with your direct donation as well. Thank you for the 5 and the direct dono. You're saying, hi, MBG. I just got home after work, and it was the last day of our team lead today. So we drank with him for the last time after work. Now I'm sad. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. But that's nice that you were, able to kind of have that little get together, doing some drinking, reminiscing. Life, man. Life. But oh, hold on. Okay, it's just Rich Rod. It's just Rich Rod going off again. But yeah, man, thank you so much. That was very kind of you, Titus. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the fact that some of you guys show up and you're you're done work and you're like, yo, I'm gonna give MBG some financial support here. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. 50 gifted. It's time for the Left 4 Dead 2 Steam gameplay with the DualSense controller. You want to follow up? Well, if we get to 100 Left, I don't think I would stream Left 4 Dead again. I was struggling. I'm not it's been so long since I played Left 4 Dead. I was struggling. I'm not gonna lie. My cat is loafing. Hold on. Rich, I'll read your donation in just a second. Don't you want another Reddit post about you, MBG? Dude, I still can't believe that. Stop drugging that girl. Well, I'm going to give her some treats this time. Some greenies. Good for her teeth. Oh, okay. See, I told you he wasn't dead. Papa wants a couple too. I'll give him a few. All right. Oh, I know. Yeah, I tried playing Left 4 Dead 2. Excuse me. I tried playing Left 4 Dead 2 on Steam we did that stream, and I played on keyboard and mouse for a little bit. It was hard for me. I wasn't doing very well. And then I hooked up the DualSense, and it mostly worked. It was almost seamless. Question, because is one of the reasons why Left 4 Dead, I meant to ask this question the day I was playing on Steam. So I hooked up the DualSense when playing Left 4 Dead 2, and some of the buttons were not mapped. And I couldn't, I was live streaming it, so I wasn't going to try to mess with that and figure it out. Is it because Left 4 Dead 2 was never ported to a PlayStation console? So in other words, like if I hooked up an Xbox controller for Left 4 Dead 2 on Steam, would it automatically be perfectly mapped because an Xbox version does exist? It worked like halfway. Like some of the buttons were working as they should, others were not. That is why. Yeah, because I had kind of here's another question I'll ask. Like if I were to just for shits and giggles here, it's like, oh yeah, I bought Death Stranding 2 or something, or Horizon or whatever, Days Gone for Steam, and I hook a DualSense up, it just will automatically, because it's a PlayStation game, or that it's first party, it just automatically works. This is pretty cool. If it's that seamless. All new games, PlayStation or not, have full DualSense support. Usually no. Well, I guess what I know that. I just mean like, is it a common thing when you boot up a new game on Steam and you hook up your DualSense that you have to map some buttons? Is that common or uncommon? The auto mapping. Yeah, I don't know. Boss is he's not interested today. Corey would be disappointed. It's uncommon? Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, dude, Left 4 Dead 2 is an older game. I have another direct donation from Rich Rod. He says, breaking news. Rich, why? Like you're getting closer to being normal, but then you drop some crazy ass shit like this that I can't read. I ain't. I'll read. It's not written. No, don't be fooled, Irfan. It's not literally breaking news. It's not real. Recent studies have shown gamers who play Call of Duty over Battlefield are blank or blank or blank blank blank. Second breaking news, blank seen kissing blank blank. That's what I got. Sorry. Fill in the blanks. Like, Rich, stop trying to get me in trouble. What's the breaking news? That was the breaking news, Virtual Man. Very exciting, huh? A lot of blanks. Rich, you owe me 5 memberships now. The Rich Rod tax is in effect. You see, Rich, they dropped 50 for the community. Now you got to drop 5. It's Rich Rod. You got to take the good with the insane. Yeah, he's been getting more normal lately, though, which is great. I knew he'd come around. But, he's having these slip-ups sometimes. It happens. It happens sometimes. Exactly, Irfan. You're exactly right. Hey, yo, Rich Rod does it. Yo, Rich, I was just kidding, bro. Well, maybe I wasn't. I was only half kidding. Rich does it, though. He's like, you know what? Rich Rod, respect. Rich respected the Rich Rod tax. And that I can respect.
Do it! Just do it! Yesterday, you said
he did
tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
So Rich has to tell himself every day before he comes into the stream. But thank you for that, man. I do appreciate that, Rich. That was unexpected. I didn't think you were actually going to do that. And Rich, there we go. He got us to 55. Dwayne says they're dodging me like Neo dodging bullets. Yeah, there's a couple people. Like, we've been getting a lot of membership gifts recently, like more than usual, which has been fantastic to see. And I've been seeing, some names that are like always here and here very often, and they're like hoping to receive a gift, and they're not getting lucky. I wish I could skew it, and make it. You know what I wish YouTube would do? Like I feel like this would be, talking about digital platforms and stuff. And oh yeah, here you go. That's what YouTube should do. Every PlayStation physical game fan reading the reports this morning. Pretty much. Pretty much. I really got to update my sound bites, dude. I need to get some updated sound bites. But what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, what I was going to tell you guys is that what YouTube should do, and I just feel like this is common sense. YouTube should make it so that people who were on the stream, chatting or not, like people who are tuned into the stream should be first priority for member gifts. Like that's just, and so like if we were to, let's just say we had like a crazy membership day and everybody who was actually watching the stream got gifted, then it starts going in the people who are not watching the stream. I feel like surely that's something they could implement. But I still appreciate we're going to do everything we can. It's like I said, my goal with the memberships for people who get gifted or people who are not gifted is if it's within your means and you really appreciate what I do here, you find yourself watching a lot of content on the channel, do understand it's all fan funded. I don't do any sponsorships. So if you do choose to become a recurring paying member for $5 a month, you are pledging your support to what I do here on a monthly basis. And that goes a long, long way. And, that's why I do the members content, to hopefully reward you guys, but also give you an incentive to, to maintain that membership. You want me to play the Arnold again? All right, I'll play Arnold one more time. But I also wanted to tell you guys earlier. Hold on, Rich. You're saying read my last. I think YouTube punishes the loyal people. It would rather give gifted to people who don't go on YouTube like that to encourage them to log on more. You might be right. There could be something to that. I wouldn't be shocked. Hold on. So I haven't listened to this whole thing. Irfan said I should make this a new soundbite. Let me see.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't thinking about it.
When somebody says something really fucking stupid, that's pretty good. I like how chaotic it suddenly becomes. At it, I'll keep that up so I'll have to extract the audio for that. If you guys have recommended sound bites, please, feel free to let my mods know and they can send it over and I'll see what I can do, because I definitely need to get some new sound bites. Like, dude, I still have this as a sound bite. It's a disgrace. It's just used ironically though. This is a sound bite we only use ironically.
This is an incredibly exciting time for PlayStation.
Isn't it? Isn't it, guys? Can I send a soundbite on Discord? Yeah, you can send it on Discord. You want to play it one more time? Yeah, I think it's from the Boondocks.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man. You know, I wasn't thinking about it. Nah.
Literally, that's how I feel half the time on Twitter. Like most of the time when I post something on Twitter, I feel like that's generally the response I get. And I'm like, okay, you know, and all right, you know, I'm just whatever, bro. Dude, that's a good one, Irfan. It's so applicable in so many ways to me. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, we got one more here. What's this?
What, are you retarded?
Dude, here's the problem. People want to know, why don't you make your streams a little bit sillier? Like, why don't you lean more into the silly nature and stuff? Because, like, I won't stop laughing. Okay? Like, we will never have discussions. That's another good one. I'm sorry. See, I have to be careful what type of sound bites I add, because I'm gonna get lost in it, man. You know? Oh, jeez. That one's good. That one's good. Nothing wrong with a good laugh. I agree. But I'm supposed to be the host. You know? And if the host is just laughing the whole time, I don't know. Laughter can be contagious. But yeah, send some more sound bites over my way. I'll see what I can do. I really got to add that he can't keep getting away with it. One, for when Sony keeps doing stupid shit. How do we send? Buzz, the best way is either to try to send it to one of my mods, or you can join the Discord and send it in the links. Oh God, now Ray's sending one.
Do it. Do it. Come on, kill me. I'm here. Come on, do it now. Kill me.
I mean, I'll be honest though, like, not sure what context I would use that one in. You know? Like, I'm not sure how often I'd be like, you know what this needs? A soundbite where it's Arnold screaming for Predator to kill him. Rich, you're saying play my soundbite. Rich, just so you know, you are a mod. You can send things right in the chat with links, but let me see. Wait, Rich, where did you send it? Oh, dude, Rich, I swear to God, bro. Hold on. That's why you sent it in the Discord. Ain't no way Rich Rod's trying to make himself a soundbite. Rich, for the love of God, man, have some dignity. Do you want me to play that? You want me to play that? Has Big Papa moved even one time since yesterday? Yes. I assure you. Bro sent me a clip of himself. You want me to play it? All right, here, guys. Rich Rod wants me to make this a soundbite. Get excited.
Can I get a man?
New soundbite just dropped. This is the same man dropping these crazed ass fucking Michael, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him, bro. That's 18 plus. It's something. Yeah, it's something. Now y'all starting to make me nervous. Making me nervous here. Hold on though. We have Irfan sent one more. I'm just waiting for, somebody's going to send something and it's just like, you crossed the line. Is it going to be Irfan?
Come on, man. What the fuck is you doing, cuz?
Oh, dude, you know what? Hold on. That reminds me. Oh, I can't find it. I was trying to find a clip of Snoop Dogg where he was like straight up cursing out Microsoft because their servers were down. This was from a couple years back, but here we go. I want to make this a soundbite.
So this me and my brother.
What the fuck, bro?
Uh-huh.
What the fuck y'all do?
I don't know.
What the fuck y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn!
What?
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
That's like, dude, that's one of my all-time favorites. In case, if you don't know the context, like, it's these kids playing a prank. They put that YouTube video up or whatever where it looks like the whole TV screen's broken, and they have like a big flat screen TV, and the dad walks in, and that was his genuine reaction. I'm like, incredible. Incredible. We're totally off the rails now, though. Couldn't even get through the article. Ray, what's this one you sent?
I'm ballsy.
Ballsy. All right. I think. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just clearing out some of this. Oh, jeez. I've heard that one numerous times. That, I don't know. That one's it's a bit much. I don't want like sound bites that I don't want sound bites that are overly obnoxious. We have Titus. Titus, I mean. Titus, I'm sorry. I'm laughing. He drops 2 $5 direct donations after dropping 10 member gifts for you guys, too. He says, I feel a bit offended how you pronounce my name for donation, even though I explained how to pronounce it. Feels like you're making fun of me every time. It makes me feel sad because I support the channel for years with direct donations and member gifts. I still love you, man, but it throws me off every time. I'm sorry, man. Like, you know what it is? It's because I'm embarrassed. Like, we need to get through this one more time, and this has to be like the last time. I need you to tell me one more time how to say your name, because I genuinely don't know still. Is it Titus? Is it Titus? Is it Titus? But then you said Sergio. Would Sergio just be okay? But don't take any offense to it, man. Like, I'm absolutely not making fun of you. If anything, I'm just trying to do that thing where it's like I'm afraid of embarrassing myself by once again calling somebody the wrong, like pronouncing their name wrong. And so I just, it's like if I just kind of downplay a little bit, make it a little bit silly, I'm sparing myself the embarrassment. It's not. No, but that makes me feel bad. That makes me feel bad, man. Like, that's absolutely the last thing I was trying to do. Please don't be offended. Because you're right. Like, dude, you're an amazing supporter of the channel, bro. And Literally the last thing I would ever want somebody who's supporting what I do here is to make them feel bad, because that is absolutely not my intention. Well, he told me I think he said one time I could call him Sergio. That's easy for me to pronounce, Sergio. And somehow I'm going to find out I probably can't even say that right. Dude, I'll tell you, trying to pronounce people's names has been the bane of my existence pretty much since I started doing YouTube. It's never not been a problem. But yeah, that makes me feel bad, man. Like, I do apologize, bro. You don't now I'm afraid to say the name. Titus. Is Titus okay? This really is you though, right? Because this was through a direct donation, and sometimes people change their names. I think it is you though. Whose name did we butcher? Well, for the longest time, I would call him Titus Serger. Yeah, I would always struggle with it, but I think it's short for Sergio. Yep, I am American. Can you tell? Can you tell I'm American? But no, don't feel bad, man. I'm absolutely not making fun of you. In all seriousness, I'm not making fun of you. And if I catch anybody making fun of anybody's name, unless it's a purposely stupid name, like unless somebody's making a silly name, that's fine. You can make fun of that. That's why they made that name. But I don't want to sketch anybody making fun of anybody's name, because that's not what I'm doing. And I'm sorry, man. I don't want you to feel that way. Dude, Rich is on patrol now. He's like, who did it? Michael immediately makes fun of Rich Rod's name. No comment. No comment. All right, hold on. Let me see. There are already out of context clips of the stream. Are you serious? Where? Bro, I'm still live. They can't even wait till I'm not live anymore? What is this?
A message to Xbox One or Microsoft or whoever the fuck. Y'all fucking server is fucking whack, man. Y'all gonna make me switch to PlayStation if y'all don't help me get this shit fixed. It's that difficult to play somebody online. What the fuck is you doing, Bill Gates? Fix your shit, man.
What the fuck are you doing, Phil Gates? Dude, oh my God, it's better than I remember. Oh man, that is one of the best. That is one of the best. I don't know that I can make that a soundbite, but that's so good. That is so good. Who was the one who found that? Ray, was that you? Did you get that? Hold on. Who? Somebody, I think somebody found it. I think both Ray and Irvin found it at the same time. Phil Gates. The fuck y'all doing over there, Phil Gates? Get your shit together. Crazy. Crazy, man. Oh, hold on. What is this?
You ruined it. You ruined it, and I'm leaving.
I play games where you get fucked to death.
Ghetto God, why? Why, like, why, bro? Why? Why would you send me that? All right. We've gotten totally off the rails. Where are we time-wise? All right. I do need to finish this Push Square article. Hold on. I lost it. Or I lost my place on it. Okay, we have a couple more here. Not a lot. I think there's like 3 more. Hold on though. Okay. The next one up that they have here, this is the Push Square article saying 8 things Sony needs to improve on the PlayStation Store. Gifting is essential. They say, I can't believe I'm writing about a PlayStation Store in 2026, which doesn't even have basic gifting capabilities. Surely this is a standard for all digital storefronts. If physical media is going away, then it'd sure be nice to be able to send friends and family games directly, purchased through the PlayStation Store. I don't really think this needs elaborating on because it's such a basic and simple feature that it seems utterly absurd it doesn't already exist. I know you can always send friends and family PSN vouchers, but this shouldn't be the only way. Again, it's in Sony's best interest to add something like this because it's only going to result in more purchases on the PlayStation Store. Agreed. It is kind of crazy that gifting doesn't exist, man. And Titus drops a €10 super chat, and he says, you can call me Sergio if that's okay for you so we don't get confused with Titus, who is my bro. Lately, the wrong pronunciation happens a lot, and I have a big tolerance threshold, but it makes me sad, bro. I apologize. Sergio, I can say that. I don't get mixed up with that. Sergio, which is a good name. And again, I apologize, man. Like, it's like I said, I feel embarrassed because when I struggle to pronounce, dude, he hasn't been on the channel in a while. There's somebody's name that I literally don't know. I've tried to figure out how to pronounce it, and I just couldn't. And their name looked like the way I read it was like potato, except the P is an M. So I call him Mateto. And that's definitely not his name. And it's because when I would try to figure out how to actually pronounce it, I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I was like, bro, are you okay if I just call you Mateto? And he's like, yeah. But in reality, I don't know. It's like probably the worst possible way to say his name. So Sergio, we have it sorted out now. And I don't want to make you sad. Trust me, that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to make anybody sad. No more sadness. Only happiness. And Sergio says with a €2 super chat, he says, no hard feelings, man, but I still wanted to address it. And I'm glad you did. No, I'm glad you did because, dude, like, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, like, I put you in a situation, you know, and you're probably like, oh, I don't know, do I want to say something again? But I'm glad you did because it's just the right thing to do. God knows, like, if and that goes for anybody. If I'm saying your name wrong or like it's bothering you, please let me know. I will do my best to correct it and make it right. We have and Sergio, thank you again, man. I appreciate all the support you've been dropping on the stream. We have Hey Tarnished, member for 21 months, saying MBG today Sony's comments made me real disincentivized. So I will give up and buy GTA 6, Wolverine Digital, PS6 in the future and support them. It's over. Well, I mean, okay, Tarnished, I do what you got to do, you know? Do what you got to do. I don't know that I could. I mean, I don't know that I could blame anybody who sees Sony's comments today and are like, okay, I'm going to move on now. I don't know that whether that's to continue to play on PlayStation or go somewhere else. I don't know that I could blame them because, yeah, Sony pretty much said, like, we're going through with this. There is still time, but the likelihood of something changing is low until we get to the PS6. Do what you got to do, Tarnished. And Michael Werneth, a member for 33 months, says, chat, you can call me anything. I don't have feelings. I know you have feelings, Michael. And you're lying. You're lying. I think Michael sometimes is like, he wants to punish himself. I get that vibe with Michael sometimes. He's like, Hurt me more, Snake. He's got that Gray Fox energy. And Rich Rod 908 with a $2 chat says, call me Dick Rod if you guys want. Well, I mean, Richard, Dick, that is correct. But then you say, or what? I don't know what you're saying here. I don't like you're saying there's another name we could call you. I'm not going to attempt to even say what you're typing here. Michael says he likes pain. Okay. Calm down. Calm down. Everybody calm down. So the blackout is not going to accomplish anything. Truthfully, probably not. It won't hurt anything. If enough people did it, it would probably catch Sony's attention, but no. I mean, it's like I said in one of my last streams, if you're going to do a blackout for PlayStation, you got to do it during the important times, like September, like November. And I think most people in the space who are, feeling upset about it, they know they're not going to want to do it at that point, at that time. It asks. The problem with the boycotts, and I was listening to Colin Moriarty again, and he brought this up a few times, and he's not wrong when he says, like, the boycotts ask so much of people that the idea of enough people being able to get on board with it, because you can't control what other people are doing. So like a large group of people could get together right now and say, like, we're not buying GTA 6, but how many of those people by the time GTA 6 comes around, it's like, maybe we are. And then for the person who actually doesn't, it's like you're kind of left not alone, but it's the divide and conquer type situation that's occurring. And we have 8-Bit Pro 85 coming in and dropping another member gift. Dropping another single gift to contribute to the goal here. So you guys went well past the goal to 56 today. 8-Bit Pro 85, thank you so much for that, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for all of your support today. I just noticed that Luna didn't actually eat her treats. All right, let me see. We have two more things here. So something else Push Square says Sony should add to the PlayStation Store: richer pages with community features. Sometimes I look at Steam's product pages and I want to cry. They're so rich. I know Sony has improved the PlayStation Store slightly with user reviews, but pages are generally so basic. I'd love to see richer product descriptions with videos, screenshots, images, and artwork. Wouldn't it be nice if developers could have a direct relationship with their customers via community posts and forums, all part of the game page itself? It'd be bad for business for Push Square, but I also wouldn't say no to community-created guides and strategies. It'd be nice to have a direct access to content like that within the console itself. I think the PlayStation Store feels so dated and stagnant. Sure, it functions, and that's the most important part, but I think Sony could build a bit more retention around all of its products if it added more features to the marketplace itself. Yeah. Again, everything that Push Square has listed here, I agree with wholeheartedly. These are, like, honestly, Sony should be reading this article and writing it down. And be like, write that down. And this is what their feature and engineer teams should be working on for the PlayStation 6. And, like, the evolution of the PlayStation Store. Absolutely. Yeah, I know. It's taken me a long time to get through this article. We have, I think, two more. The next one they say is deeper discounts. I don't think the PlayStation Store's discounts are anywhere near as bad as some people often say. We will routinely see thousands of games discounted, sometimes as low as a few dollars. But I do think Sony has to be aggressive in this area, especially if it's going to phase out retail releases, which can often be bought at clearance prices due to the inherent competition that exists in physical stores. There's a balancing act to maintain here. A race to the bottom benefits no one, and there's perhaps an argument that Steam's deep discounting has impacted the value of the software it's selling. Whatever the case, it's important for the PlayStation Store to have a constant rotation of compelling sales. Capcom's financial reports are a reminder that gaming in an all-digital age is different to how it used to be. With no physical inventory to manage, game games can enjoy longer lifespans, which means it's possible for titles like Devil May Cry 5 to achieve their highest sales totals years after launch. The PlayStation Store needs to support publishers in ensuring their catalogs have long lifespans. And as I've mentioned multiple times in this article now, this benefits both the platform holder and the consumer as it relates to spending within the ecosystem. And then finally here, they have a loyalty scheme. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised Sony's killed its loyalty scheme with PlayStation Stars just a month before physical media. This is the way of the enshittified world we all currently live in. But I think little kickbacks would go a long way in this all-digital future. I actually really enjoyed accumulating points in PlayStation Stars, and I felt like it was worth my time earning me the odd monthly pass in games I play, like Honkai Star Rail. I'm not sure PlayStation will ever go as far as handing out free credit ever again, but it should. Sony may be the market leader, but that doesn't mean it can treat its customers with contempt. Give fans a reason to spend, reward them, and maybe, just maybe, it'll see better retention as a result. So these are the 8 things that, Push Square believes Sony should improve. And yeah, I agree with every one of them, man. And I think the greater point here is that Sony comes out today, and this just kind of encapsulates the entirety of this stream, or the topic discussion. Sony comes out, they reaffirm that we're going through with this, we're going to proceed with caution, but we're doing it. If that's the case, they have to make major changes and strides of improvement with the PlayStation Store and the overall ecosystem for the sake of everybody. For the sake of even those who are buying all digital right now and have no intention of leaving PlayStation, for their sake, for the sake of those who are on the fence, for the sake of those that maybe they've lost and would reconsider if Sony makes these announcements and these changes and adds these features and maybe some policy changes, for the sake of their next-gen console, for the sake of the brand as a whole, right? I really think that Sony has their work cut out for them, and I'm not going to say either way they are or they are not doing this. We don't know. But the time's going to come where they're going to have to talk about the next-gen platform. And with that, I think everybody is expecting some big changes. We have Sayutaku with a $5 chat saying, Sony definitely pushed me to get the Helix next-gen over the PS6, and I'm okay with that. Maybe the PS6 in the far future, but definitely not on release. Interesting. What's making you decide you want to get Helix over the PS6? I'm assuming it's because, well, the rumors have indicated that, although we don't know if it's true or not, apparently it might have changed, but does it have to do with it maybe having Steam or an open ecosystem? Thank you, Irfan. I'll try to do that when I get the chance. MBG, I was trolling you with my membership chat. It's hard to tell, Tarnished. I won't lie. Give up and give them all your money. I mean, that's kind of how it read, Give up and give them all your money. You will get a digital-only Xbox before a digital-only PlayStation. Interesting. There's still so much we don't know about Helix as well. Microsoft could pull out, a shocking announcement that they will have a disk drive or something, or not just a disk drive, but like we're going to have next-gen games physically. I just don't think that's going to happen. Sparky, you're saying if Helix supports discs, I'm there day one, but I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. Well, that's what I've been saying too. Like, even if we lose the battle, so to speak, and this is going to happen, I don't blame anybody for trying to fight. It's better to try and lose than not try at all, I think. If you care, that is. You're saying you would buy Helix for the open ecosystem. Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out if Helix is actually going to have Steam on it or not, if it's going to be an open ecosystem. Jez Corden was speculating recently that he doesn't think it's going to. And I won't lie. I think there may have been a change of plans with Asha Sharma coming in. I think maybe she is making a decision like, no, the Xbox console is going to be an Xbox console. But guys, okay, so I just realized we hit the 3.5 hour mark. I'm thinking this might be a good place to wrap it up. We'll do like a last call. I'll hang out with you guys for another 2 minutes or so. If you want to drop any more support for the stream today, we did crush the member goal. Thank you all so much for that. But if you want to drop any more super chats, direct donations, or anything else, now is the time to do it. I always give this little warning at the end because occasionally people are a little bit behind and they end up dropping super chats or something after the stream already ended. And I hate it when that happens because I don't like missing super chats. But Steven, you're saying you would build a PC open ecosystem? Please stop falling for my BS. I mean, yeah, you can build a PC. They have pre-built PCs. I mean, the Steam machine is an option. There are other pre-built PC console systems that you would set up on your TV. It's not many of them, and I think they're extremely expensive, but Nico, you're saying don't forget to like the stream. Yeah, if you did enjoy today's stream and you appreciate Press X Podcast, make sure you hit that like button. MBG, the blood pressure medication seems to be helping your neck and arm. Yeah, I think so. I'm about to take my blood pressure. I don't know. I'm afraid to take it. Because it's still going to be high, I bet. Well, to be fair, I think with blood pressure medication, it's got to build up in your system a little bit. You got to take it for a couple weeks, and then it should start working more consistently. Any word on Sorrow sales? No, Sony didn't reveal sales. They just said it got an 88 on Metacritic. So, and by the way, guys, RU46N2 Ray in the chat dropped the P.O. Box address. If you guys want to send anything over to the P.O. Box, it should be open for another month throughout August. So if you're interested, there's the address. And he also dropped the Discord link. If you guys want to join the Discord, you do not have to be a channel member. I just ask that you guys be polite and, follow the rules. But feel free to join the Discord. I do pop in there from time to time. Thank you for that, Ray. Yeah, I don't think Soros did great sales-wise. I think it's safe to say that. But Sony does seem to believe that it'll pick up over time. We'll see. I like Soros. Get the platinum for it. Prince, no, it's not curing a bulging disc. I think it's helping with my muscular tension. I think my blood pressure raising constantly is causing, just my muscles in the trap, in the rhomboid area to tense up, and that I think would put excess pressure on the nerve. So I think my blood pressure being a little bit lower, I think it lowers the muscular tension as well. I don't know, Irfan. As of right now, I don't necessarily have a plan to do that, but what game am I currently playing? Well, I'm probably going to try out the Mortal Shell 2 demo. I'm on the fence with Marvel Tokon. I did play a little bit of the Marvel Tokon beta, and I actually liked it more than I expected. PS6 is trending on X. Is it? Let me see. Oh, it is. It is. PlayStation 6 is trending. It seems like it has the number one thing I see trending with it is somebody who did a concept of a PlayStation 6 controller that may have the ability to change button layouts on the fly based off of a patent. Got 4.5 million views. I guess we'll see. Beast of Reincarnation looks good. I'm thinking about that too. I'll have to see. What I do know for sure, though, is that going later into this month, games I want to, like some August games, Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2, 100% playing. I'm super stoked for that. They released a new trailer for it yesterday. It looks amazing. Like, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to experience Metal Gear Solid 4 again, and Peace Walker for that matter. So that's like a must play for me. Mortal Shell 2, I would say, is right behind. That game looks incredible. Beast of Reincarnation is one of those games where it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be there for day one. It could be like a backlog type game I get around to. Marvel Tokon is up in the air. And when it comes to September, oh my Lord, I don't even know what to say about September. I'm scared. I'm just scared. So I'm going to take it 1 month at a time. But guys, that is going to wrap up today's stream. MBG, choose the first honors. You take the honors. No, Rich, we hit the goal today, bro. It's okay. It's okay. Nobody's getting banned. You're all welcome. Gamescom, I don't know what date it is in August. I have to look into it. But guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Press X Podcast. Again, this was a stream I wasn't expecting to do today, but the final thing I'll say here is, you know, when it comes to the topic of physical discs and Sony's decision to end them, it's not a topic that's going to go away, obviously, but I think that we are where we are. They made the announcement, an entire month went by, they made it clear they're continuing with this. So, you know, my intention is not to just continually only talk about this in my videos and my streams going forward. I just don't think I don't think anybody wants to hear that every day. You know, I don't know that I even have it in me to talk about that every day. For as passionate as I am, you know, I do want to talk about some other things, mainly pertaining to the games. And I think you guys understand that, but it's going to continue to come up though, you know, and we'll continue to relax. We'll continue to cover what's said and any news that comes out regarding that. But I don't know if I'm playing Beast of Reincarnation. It looks pretty good. Oh yeah, Plague Tale. I forgot that's coming out at the end of this month too. But all right, guys. Couple things I want to say here with my outro. First off, thank you all so much for supporting what I do here directly. If you are somebody who dropped any member gifts today, any super chats, any direct donations, or if you became a member, thank you so much for that. Like I say, I'm completely fan-funded, sponsorship-free. I can only do what I do here because you guys make it possible. And so thank you for that. Mystic put out a new video. Hold on. Let me check real quick. Oh, yeah, Mystic says PlayStation finally responds to the disc controversy.
All right, folks, we do indeed have very thorough answers and responses from PlayStation, from Sony, rather, Sony's CFO, of all things, that directly acknowledges the disc controversy because this comes from their financial report, which this came out overnight, so I knew this was not going to be something that we would be able to comfortably fit into LTPS, which is still live today, LTPS 737. But let's go over the recent fiscal year 2026.
All right, so it's like a 12-minute video. I'm gonna watch this later on. Honestly, I'm gonna have to wrap the stream up because I'm starting to feel not great at the moment. I would push myself a little bit. I would, I usually don't mind, but I promised myself and Mrs. MBG and my doctor that I'm gonna have to, you know, when I start to feel the sun, I got to listen to my body. And I'm not saying that this 3.5 hours, I'm starting to get a headache, to be honest. That's what I'm starting to get. And so I'm going to just call it here. Maybe I got to rehydrate I'm going to go check my blood pressure. Maybe it's the medication, maybe a side effect perhaps. But I'm definitely going to check out his video when I get the chance. I'll be curious to see what Mystic has to say. I've seen a couple comments on the video so far, and if those comments or anything go by, Sony, man, oh boy. But yeah. So thank you to everybody who dropped direct support, and I also want to make sure to give a special shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. If you see Devil Shooter in the comments with those timestamps, give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he appreciates it. They'll probably be a little bit later today. I think he said for Friday streams, I think he's a little bit preoccupied, so they'll either be here later or tomorrow. So don't fret. And that's it, guys. I also just want to say, make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And once again, just a big thank you to everybody who supports what I do here. July was quite the wild ride of a month. Quite a stressful month, I got to say. But it's overall, the channel's in a pretty good place. And I have you guys to thank for that. So I'll be really curious to see where we go in August and beyond, and for the remainder of the year. So thank you guys for having my back. And that's it. Please enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or night. I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.